as we mentioned it before, it is Elimination Day, and that sadly results in the fact that one of these is going to go home, and, well, this first map is going to be quite important as a very first step of things. Blackbeard, the first to be removed, is going to be taken out by Liquid. Montaigne will be left open, so that is something to keep in mind as Ram gets removed instead.
I think, okay, well, Ram obviously has strong uses on labs. You can be very specific with getting yourself in, your clarity over IT. You know, you think of the two-story holds we get in positions here, took her out great against the walls, but as you said, the Monty, the limitation there, the only game Liquid has played in this tournament they have won, Monty was available. Every single other game, every single other map against Liquid, Monty has been removed. Will that be a bit of a turn of force for them? Or do FaZe think, look, you can have a favored operator, that doesn't stop us?
No, I mean, there's definitely ways to play around that Montaigne, right? Like, if you know it's there, just start playing Legia and start playing other operators that you can maybe use to try and slow down that Montaigne with. And off the get-go, Liquid not locking it in, but of course there is going to be that repick phase, so depending on which side they're actually attacking, they might still bring that in. But we are headed towards that basement first, which often puts a pretty heavy emphasis on some verticality. Now, we mentioned it, Ram is going to be removed. They're going to have to find a different solution for those problems together with the Heart Breach as well. But, you know, they have that one sorted with Palu and Lagonis on the Heart Breach. My player to watch here for Liquid today is going to be Palu. He hasn't had the best tournament so far, whilst historically he has been like a top 2 player for Liquid.
Yep.
But as mentioned before on the desk, he's 25 kills away from joining what might be the most exclusive club we have in Siege, which is dropping 1,000 kills over all 6 Invitationals combined.
It's a pretty exclusive club.
It is a pretty exclusive club, but guess what? They're all in this server right now.
They are all in this server, all in the map, all from Brazil. So it's currently an exclusive club that only speaks in Portuguese.
Yeah. Some speak a bit of English, but, you know, it's not their main language. Either way, it is just insane. It is a testament to how good Brazil has always been in this game and how, you know, those gunners from these teams are always a threat. Yet none of them have ever lifted a hammer. And one of them will not do it this year either.
I mean, that's a very open but fact-driven way of explaining it, Hap. Yes, one of these teams, this will be the end of their journey. Huge names, huge organizations, and, well, in the case of FaZe especially, huge performances at last year's SI. It's a quick approach, the control over cargo and the back end of any rotates that might happen. Nesk wants to go a bit hard, fast, and aggressive with Lagonis offering some shield support here towards the side of Vending, down on towards Exo. Now, it's a bit of a break call of the player, and they're going to pop a Goyo canister to stop this in its tracks. Deimos is tracking Vidaking, who gets out of there. Lagonis just almost goes down from the damage in the fire itself, keeps pushing, and at this point, you think what's in the pocket can get it out, so they've got to push these kills. Resets gets one, Cyber resets, and suddenly it's a 4 versus 4, but the site is under a very tentative bit of control here from the side of Liquid. It's back and forth, still blowing its way up, down on the cargo stairs, and with Palu down, Nesk and Lagonis all that's left. Gonna see if they can secure the plant itself, but there is one player offering all the cover potential. They're gonna try and close back down. He doesn't even know where he's being shot from because it's multi-directional, and the follow-through comes. A quick rush, circumvented and shut down, and you assume they'll go and get that kit cleared up? Yes, they will.
I don't think they would have forgotten about the fact that the defuse
almost happened.
It almost happened, that's true, but there was a lot of time left in this one. But there you go, first round coming through. I mean, Liquid, they basically straight on push towards the site. They managed to take it under control, but not quite as comfortably as they would have. All these trades coming through basically led them to, well, basically work with a bit of a man disadvantage out here, leaving them a man down, and eventually a round down as well. So the first one goes to FaZe, as the trades on FaZe were just a little bit better than the ones from Liquid.
Obviously, they made a snap decision. We've gone for this rush play, a single Goyo canister. You know, it didn't net the kill, but when your man with the kit is going to try and sort of turtle that shield on his back and go for the plant is so low, suddenly you cannot use that blitz as your hammer at the front of a strike as much as you would like to. You have to sort of let the guns roll its way through first, and the exploratory nature of it becomes trickier. You know, having to face check your corners on the side of a rush is not easy, not comfortable. You have the Deimos track on the single player, but as things fell apart around Cargo Stairs as well, especially, you suddenly don't have a back to your push. And, well, Liquid, they attempted something. But the first round, the opening round of a series, is the perfect time to sort of try plays like that.
It is. I mean, there's no pressure on you yet. There's still a whole 2 maps basically ahead of you at the very minimum. So if you want to go quick, it might just as well be the right moment in time to go for it. Didn't quite work out, and now they'll head over towards Command. And this is basically bread and butter Siege. You just got to make sure that your fundamentals are working well. And if you have to compare it to any other site, on any other map, it probably would be CCTV Cache on Clubhouse. There is a clear step-by-step plan that these teams will usually follow. And it opens up with Lagonis starting with the first exothermic charge onto IT. That's going to be opening up some pressure. It's going to stop them from heavily rotating around on mezzanines or even leading into the fight over there, and gives them that first entry point in.
Well, a quick shot down around the top of blue. Get rid of the shields and get yourself the play space to build around. No drive on a shield itself. And I know you sort of always will cite the statistics of how good Liquid can be with the Monty, how the Monty's in, and it's the only time it's been in. But nobody knows how these teams play as well as, well, these two teams. Really, they're so well rehearsed against each other individually, as players, as teams, that all the citing we can sort of do when it comes down to it, the plays you make with your closest allies and rivals are going to be the ones that are the most specific. A steady clear here on towards jungle and connector, and now they have eyes across the core of the site. There is players underneath for the side of, I was going to say for FaZe, but at the same time they shut down. There's a drop, and he could not find another connection. A 3 versus 3 goes to a 3 versus 2 with Souls finding Maya at the end of it, and that puts a bit more favor. Once again, Liquid trying to smash and breach and break their way through on towards the site, and it just means the transition into the building is a trickier one to make. A flash and a smoke being thrown out and deployed at this point. They have some of the coverage, but with 55 seconds, Handy Souls and KDS are playing this perfectly. Just be patient, let them enter. You know they still have to plant, and you can just swing and shut them down. Almost caught out. They've fought their way towards the pillar itself. They have some protection, but it's a very loud thing planting a diffuser.
Yeah, for sure, and that's just going to be, you know, peeking in all those ears, and all 3 of them are instantly going to start to make a move. As soon as it happens, you see it there. The suppressor of the TCSG comes around the corner. Lagonis will find one. Suddenly it's a 2-on-2 situation now. 25 seconds, still counting down, but certainly very doable here for Liquid.
A very aggressive position. Neska's in, but he works it perfectly. The smoke canister will stop Lagonis. He's so low, but survives. Most importantly, he finds a narrow angle.
Oh,
There it is, Handy! The smoke drifted and finished off a player whilst he swung onto the other. Couldn't have lined up better for him. Liquid, they did a great job with the limited motions and players that they had to get something going. But FaZe, hold on.
This will be such a painful round to lose. Like, they started to fight themselves back in, and it started with Palu. He found himself 1 kill. He nearly found himself 3, but wasn't quite able to confirm the Izami. Wasn't quite able to confirm the second player as well. I mean, you see it here. First one, beautiful. A little bit of damage done into Souls, not quite enough. An extra bullet would have done the job. Handy going quite low as well, and eventually that kill that he missed on Handy, the reason why that round goes towards FaZe is they find themselves 2-0 up right now. And Nascabini tried his best out there. He already had the cover down quite well, but that smoke canister tossed in deep basically secured him a 1v1.
I wonder what happened to Lagonis. He'd obviously got clear of it, and he was super low, and he just took a step a bit too close.
The smoke also extends a little bit, right? Like over the time, so maybe like he thought it was safe, and then, you know, the tick expanded, and suddenly he finds himself inside of it with nowhere to go. I mean, we don't know until we would have to see that replay afterwards, but it is just an unfortunate way that that round ends for Liquid. And now a new round. FaZe looking to complete their rotation. They've already got 2 on the board. They're looking to get 3 in a row. After that, they just can start rotating through the sites again. Go back towards the basement, go back towards command, and then maybe end up here in control yet once more. And Liquid also trying to bring some pace. It is FaZe that is completely ready for it. Every single time they're finding themselves on the side, it's FaZe that is just taking them down bit by bit without too much worry in the world. As Reset centers up above, that has been opened up. It's getting rid of some of the barricades just to provide some extra phantom pressure. Hops out just as quickly as well. I mean, this is just the point of this round now. At the start of this round, you want to get some control. You want to make sure that there's pressure on the defenders, so they're forced to fall back towards the site.
It's still steady progress, steady aggression here from Liquid, not slowing down, which is sort of everything that they need to do, right? They want to keep this game sort of hot, fast, aggressive, put the pressure on, as you said, sort of on the desk. They've had a lot of prep time, a lot of rehearsal, a lot of knowledge, and that's probably one of the things that's leading in to these sort of quick moving takes. There's the pressure on towards blue. They're inside rafters as well, swinging their way across, stealing the vertical. There's one, there's a trade out. Souls swings his way back onto the Monty. The 4 versus 4, he's going for the cover player and he gets it! Oh no, the Monty is now at a 1 versus 2 with the kit. Needs support, or does he? Drops 1. Lagonis gets the dropout and the kill and forces the player back down. If he'd have been removed, that would have been, I mean, horrible.
It would have been round over. In that case,
Yeah.
the kit would have been called. They would have had top 4 under control with at least 2 people, as it was going to be a 2v3 situation, or 2v4 situation even, in favor of FaZe. But again, Liquid trying to bring some pace here, not really working out as best as they want to. They find themselves at least an even number count here. The Lagonis taking a small amount of damage. You've lost Maya, you've lost Nesk. Those are not going to be able to have any impact anymore. Now the Clutch Drones trying to figure out if there's any information to be gathered. That default Campbell swap, but it's going to be instantly taken down by the Legion on the opposite side. KDS not too worried about the actual drone itself, more so worried about the window where someone could challenge from, as Lagonis didn't know Cyber was hiding around the corner. Fouts too, but a shotgun, and the third one might just as well line up as he's waiting for the swing to come through, but Palu's not quite giving it as of yet.
Holding on, but for how long? Palu gets Cyber, cannot find a second. FaZe tie 3 in a row, but it is still so violent, still so traded. Between these two teams, everybody is finding themselves wrapped up in the whirlwind of FaZe versus Liquid, and now we get a breath as Liquid call their timeout.
I mean, again, they started off with some aggression. They found themselves on the side early. Maya found the kill, but then the instant trades start happening again. And, you know, if it wasn't for the Montaigne to be able to strike back and bring it back to a 3-on-3, this would have been a way worse round for the side of Liquid. But this quick pace that they're bringing in these initial parts of the round is just not really working out. They've had all 3 entry kills. They've just not been able to basically transform it into rounds because FaZe is just there. Like, okay, you're on the side or you're right above the side, but we're here to fight back. We're not just going to give it to you for free. We are here to fight for it. It's like, damn, FaZe got hands whenever we're trying to push it. And rightfully so. I mean, they were, you know, runners-up of last SI. They might find themselves in a lower bracket now, but that won't stop and that won't, you know, deter anything from their reputation.
Now, obviously, the data pool that we have in terms of Liquid at this tournament on this map is slim because, well, it was only played in 1 map, and that was a 7-1, I believe, across it. So, yeah, yes, they have an 83% attack win and 100% defense win, but it's a single sort of setup. The other split of that that's probably causing some concern here for the side of FaZe is they're starting to operate better on the sites that sometimes slipped away from them, getting themselves locked in here. It's still solid sort of 60% holds that are building and building, 36% on their attack, but you know, if they get themselves up towards 4-5, what are Liquid going to do when it comes to the second? They might be able to pull some things in, but it just takes 2 rounds to get away from them.
I mean, they've played this map 3 times over the tournament, a 5-7 loss against the Rebellion, an 8-7 victory against Secret, a 7-8 loss against Space Station. Like, FaZe have played this game, have played this map a lot throughout this tournament so far. And whilst they might have lost it twice, they've been a round away from winning it. And that's kind of the thing to take away here. It is a really good map for them. And, you know, Liquid have decided to pick it. While they had a good opportunity here, of course, they had a very convincing victory. But at the same time, it's also FaZe. It is the team that knows them best that they're going up against. So you can throw all the statistics out of the window. It's quite literally just how these two teams will show up against one another. A quick breach might be followed up with a blitz rushing through that window. I don't think it's actually going to be the case. Lagona's just holding on tight for now with that shield. They're droning out. They're trying to get the information first. Maybe that's what the tactical timeout said. Let's first know where they are. Let's not just rush in, try and go for the early entry kill if we cannot follow it up with a full team support.
Handy. Gonna be the one that say it. Hasn't died yet. Obviously an important player on that sort of backline position that's able to pick apart the pieces that have otherwise been filtered and thrown towards him, but he might be about to come face to face with a blitz, which is probably what nobody really wants. Lagonis aggressively getting in with a shield, seeing if he can try and find these points of progress, but as he's surrounded, Cyber finds one out. Resets does get handy. Can Cyber find a route through or at least one more kill? No is the answer. An absolute encircling occurred there, and he was hunted out of the top floor. They have a body advantage. They have a minute 30 as well. They lose Maya, which out of the lineup of those operators is probably the one that, well, yeah, it's nice that the Ash is gone, but at this point, how much of a lockdown can happen? It's a big play space, a lot that needs to be focused on, and Souls, I mean, if he's found here and can't get back via vending stairs, he's going to be in a dangerous situation, slow and steady, and he has at least a bit of support from Vidaking. Sprays over the top, covered Souls, made sure he had a route out of there to safety. The blitz just towing around the corner delicately. The pop from the teammate, and they're just overreach off the shoulder, but stayed a step too long there. Really wanted one more bit of damage before he left, and here, 50 seconds, a 3 versus 2, still looking pretty good for Liquid.
Overstayed is welcome a little bit there indeed. Like, there is always going to be that support behind the shield, and there was in this case as well. Lagonis had that support from Palu. Now pushing down the staircase, hoping to find just a little bit more, but the Goya pockets are going to start to slow things down. 2 of them have exploded so far that we know of. There is a potential for 2 more to be around, but how likely is it that it's all around the actual area that is being pushed right now? Well, KDS hiding around the corner. That went well for Cyber in the last round, especially when a shield came by. So you gotta hope that they're going to be able to run. They're all stacked up. They're all just waiting for the fire to go.
And here they go, right off towards the corner of Exo. They're going to see if they can go for the default, and that's KDS's time, but Palu had the cover. 9 seconds. Do they know where Vidaking is? Yes, look at the aiming outline there, waiting for exactly that. Liquid had the full read. Fool us once, shame on us. Fool us twice, shame on you.
Yeah, managed to pull it off well there. I mean, they all decided to go for a unified push. There was some fire that slowed them down slightly, but they knew they had the men count. They knew where these players were located. Paolo with the cover initially, Nesk right afterwards as soon as the plant was being attempted, and they find themselves with a round right after the tactical timeout. That's a very important one to take, because if that one goes away, you usually find yourselves in a whole lot more trouble.
I mean, they slowed it down.
They did slow it down.
It was obviously the MO of the team talk. Compare that with not just the last time we were here where I said it was a rush, but how they approached all of the first 3 rounds here. They were still aggressive and quick, but they sent all of the bodies up to close down on those least players, make sure there was no way out, and then they went to the next problem. They stopped. They took it problem by problem by problem.
Yep.
And they shut down each section of FaZe's hold individually until at that point, yeah, you know, it was down to about 15 seconds left and they're making the plant. But they were pre-aiming at the 2 places FaZe wanted to operate. They had done all their research and are very happy with the thesis that they'd conducted. Hiding the Kaid. Sneaky, sneaky Kaid.
I love the amount of hiding that we've been seeing throughout the tournament. Like when I was watching the stages, not a lot of teams were just hiding their operators. Of course, like, you know, if you play the cap, you're always going to be hiding that. Clash is being hidden quite a lot as well. Cade is not one of the operators that you usually see being hidden as much, but that's probably because they don't want a Thatcher to be brought. It wasn't brought in any of the previous rounds. If they know there's going to be a Cade on the board, well, a Thatcher might as well be brought to try and stop that tricking from happening. And of course, they do have a Twitch. They have the opportunity to just zap out these claws, or to use the Brava, to use the clutch drones to remove them. But as the first breach comes through, it is going to be the clash that falls back. Vidaking not wanting to play around any longer. 2 minutes 20 left. Still plenty of time. Of course, now you gotta wonder, is Liquid going to be extending themselves towards IT and make a push happen from there? I mean, Paolo is currently lined up on it, but due to the fact that there's electrification there, they're not going to be able to open that one up. And the Twitch drone is trying to creep himself over, but it's being watched by a player. There it is. Cade will get that Twitch drone. And that means for now, it is all staying safe.
Well, they're putting the pressure on from underneath. They're approaching it as you're supposed to, pre-firing their own fights back, but
Can't find it like that.
exactly. To get that claw, you have to get yourself some utility bounced around, some destruction, and really try and hunt it down. And that is what Resets is going to do. Will they catch the fight here? You can see, I mean, he's happy to go for the swing, Cade. It's a great gun. And it's one that in the right hands can be deadly, and Cyber for a long time has been the right hand. But Resets has an angle, and it doesn't even matter in that situation. I mean, you know, they knew that fight was coming, both of them, and Cyber, although he has only a little pocket to stand in, because there was no other pressure coming towards him, he could sort of focus himself on towards it. Now Ness has to rebuild. They've rotated Palu in towards the position that Resets was trying to take. Again, it's a slower approach here. But on this site, with a clash still on the board, it's not really netting anything. Will it be 2 for 2 on challenges? Yes, but Ness does get souls. Will he get the second? Yes, Ness operates and activates across. Now he's inside the building. His handy pops a Goyo before he's blind, but Ness behind you. Oh no, somebody's behind Ness. A 2 versus 1. One being a clash, and Maya is just being shredded. The grenade will buy some space. I believe KDS is, yep, just watching and waiting on the swing. And although Ness did their best to sort of fight their way back into the round, unfortunately, just not enough time.
I mean, the kind of round just fell apart with the IT wall. They tried to open it up, but they weren't able to due to the K-class being where they were. They're on those shells. Hard to take down from below. So you're going to have to try and get your Twitch drone in or a clutch drone, or even better, if you would have had an EMP, would have just been able to do that instead. There's no way that it's going to be able to trick that against the Thatcher. And of course, Cyber, who's just playing from IT, finding 2 of them on the mezzanines. That kind of just takes the entire angle out of the attack. It wasn't for like a trying though. Nesk definitely found himself back in, found himself with 2 kills. He's trying to stay ahead on that total kill tally. But it is going to be FaZe that finds himself 4-1 up here on the very first map. And you know, that's not looking well for Liquid.
I know they're pro players, before I say this, but
They are, yes.
They all make the TCSG look so controllable and easy to use.
And then you play it yourself, and you're like, how do they do it?
Like, it's not the hardest gun in the game, but it's nowhere near as, like,
just give me an MX4 Storm or an MP7, you know, like high fire rate, low recoil.
Give me the Vector. Vector every day.
I love the Vector.
4-1, and as I said before, FaZe, well, if they get to 5-1, this one might be a little bit too far, regardless about how it goes on the second half and how much of a fight Liquid put in. It just opens up a tertiary site, and on Labs, that's awkward because you have Command, which is, you know, a very strong site for a lot of teams, down to Tank as well, and then you have Storage. Now, some teams might go to Kitchen. I haven't seen it this tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been played this tournament, but I know it's not great.
I mean, usually when it gets played, it is a bit of a, you know, it is a surprise site, and often it does actually work out, which is like crazy, but the
thing
thing
is,
is,
4 times.
Yeah, how many times has it been won? Like 60%?
50%, because like you don't expect it, but at the same time, you know,
everybody has a game on it.
Usually,
for the attack.
well, it's usually when it gets played, a site like that, and you look at it and it's like, why is it 50%? It's because it's being played in a game where they're already doing very, very well.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you've run through the rounds. You're like, you know what? Let's just go for it.
Let's just go for it. Let's be confident. Let's sort of get ourselves in towards this map, but at the same time, you know, it still opens yourself up for a tricky sort of situation. It's around close to a 40% win on the defense, on splitting or on the attack even. But here, patience. Will it pay off as we talk about this being a trickier site? FaZe, they've propped themselves up within it. The Solace is the one being hunted by the Deimos on the far, far side. They're sort of making their own adventures underneath. Cyber isn't too far away, but do they know? Maya has just slipped their way around the corner. Cyber's about to try and befriend him, but with a gun. There goes the first, looks up for the second on the window and finds it. Oh, it's a rocky decision. They're able to get a couple of kills elsewhere, but please do not sacrifice the third player to the altar of Cyber. Well, the C4 goes fishing, and they've pulled themselves away. Ness with the kid is gone. Palu in the meantime, I mean, he at 1 second looked like he was going to try and push down it, but instead he's gone round in towards Billiards. They're trying to pinch out the space inside, and there is Souls getting Palu on the trade out of Vidaking, who's down. Well, there's another pickup. It's technically a 1 versus 2 currently, but with the rotate round on Cargo Stairs and 1 above, and still the pressure of Plant, he's going to have to try and opt to take this fight. Now, if he can isolate them, he can do great, but it's tricky when you don't really know where they are. The Plant bait sound. Handy moves his way close. Cyber starts to make his way up the stairs as well. They're circling around Nesk and ready for that. There it was. He wasn't entirely aware of Cyber's repositioning from the far side. And that puts us 5-1.
I mean, it's a great play from Cyber there, right? Like, he could either make himself known and take a 50-50, or he was just waiting for Nest to start rotating out. Like, he was probably just waiting for his teammate to come around, have a 2v1 retake. And, you know, this is also how we saw Raza yesterday win a round where Dan had, like, a 3-kill, move back towards Piano. It was just a guy sitting there waiting, like, you're probably going to fall back towards me and finding the kill. Sometimes you don't actually need to go and find your fight. Sometimes the fights come towards you. And, you know, Cyber kind of show both. Going for that flank down below, finding the very first kill. I do not understand why the jump in came in right afterwards. You know that the bottom floor has just been taken.
I can only think that it was a miscomm, or at least not a full clarity on where they thought Cyber was. Obviously, it's such a risk. You know, there's that vertical that they've opened. They've got the bees underneath, and I guess we didn't see it from the perspective of the player. Yeah. Maybe he was like, I'm going to challenge it. I believe in myself. We love self-belief. But you probably don't love death.
No, I think a lot of people would like to stay alive in these kind of games, you know, especially Liquid. Currently being 5-1 down. They would love to make this one at least go towards overtime right now and try and still put in their hat for the victory on their own map pick, nonetheless. They picked this map. They wanted to go to Labs. And currently, they are losing it. Over towards the defense, though. Lagonis onto the clash. And let's see if FaZe is going to be a bit more efficient with how to clear out that top floor, how to clear out those Cade claws, because that is something that Liquid struggled with, and because of that, because they didn't have IT, were forced to go in for mezzanines. Yeah,
I guess we only really saw one slower take where they went for this earlier on. Obviously, it can still be sort of demonstrated and improved. The first one was that violent rush here, and the Mav will make very quick work of this alongside the Buck. Obviously, it's already done their work, so this wall will fall immediately, and they're hoping the catch of the C4 will come against it. Down on the ground, and there goes Handy. But Cyber does trade out resets. I mean, every Maverick main knows the risks. And that is just one of those times things do not pay out. But with that opening sort of engagement done, with this wall open, and now, you know, the potential chance of where else the Selmas, where else the hard breach, where else the electrification can be. Here is that moment. And Vidaking is just waiting for Souls, trying to clear things up off the wall.
Just waiting, hoping to get some support. I mean, there's no Maverick anymore that's going to be able to... Oh, there you go. Explosive from down below is going to be clearing that up, indeed. And now the wall opened up. So they have another opportunity to start pushing through. Of course, it's that nice 4v4 kind of state. They know where the clash is, so they know where they will not be slowed down if they start to make a push happen. And Vidaking being careful, being patient, slowly starting to push himself in, digging himself in deeper into the corner just to be a little bit safer when he's on his drone.
Yeah, as I said before, it was the Nomad just clearing the cross against all the electrification on the wall, and now they can try and put the pressure in the air jab on the swing, so it forces the player down, but I don't think they expected it. They definitely did that, though. Great take, Souls, and he's ready for his next engagement. Another one above the door, but this time they've pulled themselves back out. They've escaped the first trap, and the second will hold them in. Cyber, he's getting himself rotated around 50 seconds. Time to sort of reevaluate the position and find out where you think you can put the pressure. They know, fully aware of Clash is one, but Maya threads the needle through the breach, and Nesk finds Vidaking. Cyber and KDS, they are in the man deficit here in this situation. The long throw of the grenade forced them into the engagement, but we're just seeing FaZe struggling. I was going to say, to catch the loose players. With the clash still being on the board, 20 seconds, knowing you have to plant. This is a very, very tricky situation. They've moved themselves back in towards electrical. And in fact, nope, they pulled themselves right back away. The first fight is there. There's pressure on the clash right now. There's the second! And now, as they hunt the player down, he's doing his best. Lagonis, he's rotating his some way, FaZe prevail. That round should not have been theirs.
No, like a great play coming in from KDS of the Damos, just finding those 2 kills, instantly pushing through for the plant, and then, hey, look at that. It is Cyber that is challenging the Clash 1v1. Clash can no longer afford to fall back, can no longer afford to challenge that diffuser, and FaZe find themselves on a 6-1 map point. That round should have been Liquid's. They had everything going for them for such a long time, and it just all falls apart in the dying seconds of that round.
I mean, a 4 versus 2. Technically, obviously, they lost one in the rafters. It was a very early exchange from this point to here. So the first kill to break that was at 25 seconds left. And then in that time, you know, the rotate round top blue, KDS on not a lot of health, and just a ludicrous showing from FaZe. And frustration for Liquid, a frustrating day at the office here. Those demons against FaZe, that 7-0 record from the year. I mean, if this keeps up, it's not going to be long before we're on the 8-0. This is Liquid's map.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's just not looking good for them. Like, that was a round where they had it in the bag and they fumbled it. They just dropped it out there. And I'm not quite sure what happened there. Like, they tried to go for the re-swings. I mean, Clash had Cyber completely under control to that extent. He was challenging 1v1. Cyber was not going to be a threat to any of the other 2 players. All that they had to do was just stay inside of Electrical, wait for the timer to hit 0, then go for a push to try and stop that plant from happening. But it started to give them 2 1v1s instead, which is taken into control.
Liquid will have to have, I mean, one of the biggest sort of remountings of energy, of pressure. What? Cyber went down and finished off by Maya. That's probably a big breath of fresh air, but there's an instant trade out from Souls. Gets Lagonis. Now, there is another player still up here that's going to swing wide, but resets with the C4, gets 1, and Palu gets handy. Another 2 versus 4. Doesn't mean we're at the end, but Liquid is going to play coy-lid. Get out of there.
2v4. Be the King alive. I mean, they still need to go all the way down towards the basement, so, you know, it's not looking likely like this round will go towards FaZe, but we kind of thought that about the last round as well, and suddenly it just all turned around. But now, there's more time. There's more members on the board here for Liquid. All they quite literally have to do is just hold back. As soon as that Monty comes in, just fall back another corner. Like, you don't have to challenge this. There you have it. Oh, actually, Be the King seemingly aware, but there's 2 players out there going for the cover. There's still that one up top as well that is trying to go for a bit of a challenge, and KDS finds Nesk. Suddenly a 2-on-3. I mean, it's still a shield on the board. That's a gun that is not firing, but it's impressive. And you can definitely use that to try and force him in different positions as KDS almost gets assassinated by a stack of goo mines.
A minute and a 2 versus 3 with a shield, but again, it's a very sort of almost cavernous play space they're in right now. There is nobody and nothing they can do. They've got to start digging down and seeing if they can try and find diamonds. At this point, the shield goes for the drop, and well, they're ready for it. The coverage, in case anything is on the back of the door, but it's a long, deep angle, leaving just Bitter King for long. Liquid, they find their 2nd round of the entire map so far, both on tank. Now they have the choice. Do they go back to command, where they were so close and it should have been theirs, or do they opt for a tertiary because, well, they've got to win both of them?
They got to win both of them, so do you want to continue onwards with your rotation, knowing that you're going to have to complete it at least one more time? Or do you go for safety first? I mean, it is the question. From what we can see, it seems like they're going towards control storage. This KDS want to try to bring it close, but Reset's just spotting out the feed there with that TCSG. Getting the side of the Montaigne as well, and Liquid. Again, they find a round, the other round that they had, also in lab, but when they were on the attack, but that was right after the tactical timeout. Weren't able to win another round until just now. Once they probably should have. But this site, slightly trickier to hold on to fully. And FaZe, they know there is not a lot of pressure on them for this map. It is their opponent's map pick. They're currently 6-2 up. They have so many opportunities of just cruising this one across the finish line and start preparing themselves for map 2.
There is obviously a little bit of a different demon on the side of FaZe. The last time they were 6-1 up on this map at SI.
Yeah, they kind of lost the trophy.
Yeah, at the moment's not one they don't want to speak about. And, you know, that was then they went on to their attack as well. So it's not impossible for Liquid, is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, it's definitely possible. But Liquid hasn't won every single event yet this year.
No.
You know, there's a big difference
there. But it is a
there.
positive spin. If we talk about the demons Liquid face when they face FaZe, FaZe is their own on this very map in this very tournament. And probably some of the greatest fears of all. Reset. Wants to be ready. Oh, Vidiking! Different strat, better result. They had themselves prepped and sort of ready for the take above.
Little fool me once. Coming out there. They find themselves with a man advantage now that they are looking for. I mean, you know, they just need to cruise this one across the finish line. We said it before, they have 4 rounds to still do it. Cyber waiting, ready to go for mezzanines. The door is slightly broken, not fully yet for him to pass them through, but all he needs is the call. Go ahead, go find that kill. They know Nesk is probably around here, but the keeper barriers are going to be making it slightly trickier to go forward. It's Vidiking, finds Maya. 3 left on the side of Liquid to try and keep them in this map. And the push is starting to surround them. They're starting to get closer on that top floor, and it's all starting to fall apart as Paolo will find Handy. One more for the tally, one more closer to the 1,000, but he's still nowhere near.
Well, as it trades out all the way across the map, FaZe still have at least one extra body, one extra person they can throw at a problem, but as the blinds come round, the pressure of Cyber up and above, and well, they're gonna get the drones out, reassess. They force them back towards the top of blue. Parlu isn't a million miles away, and the Legion can buy himself some time as the barbed wire for an early warning, and there it is, just actually changing out the option of what he wants to be the early warning. It gives him a chance to rotate round and go for a take without audio later on if he feels the need and the necessity. With 45 seconds, maybe they'll play for a bit of a retake, see if they can get an angle, get together, and then get their way out of there. Vidiking takes a lot of damage.
Barbed wire, I think.
From the side of barbed wire, but he's in and planting, and here's that shutdown. The smoke will finish Vidiking if it connects, but, well, it doesn't. He's found himself in a new pocket, and Parlu, he's just going to drive right through. There's one, and he's out of there as well. Not punished on it until they try and find the fight, but Parlu, he said he wasn't close to his tally. He's doing the distance right now. Souls in a 1 versus 2 with 10 seconds left. He's looking for the fight in billiards, but a shotgun loves that position.
A very important round to come through. Again, they lost the very initial opening. It was a 5v3 that they had to clutch themselves out from. FaZe, they read their number. They knew exactly what they wanted to do when they pushed up for that Maverick. They knew that someone was going to be ready there with a Nitro cell. They found that kill. But besides that, suddenly the rest of Liquid showing up. And now a tactical timeout from FaZe. I mean, again, they have 3 more rounds to try and get this one across the finish line and push themselves to map number 2, but things are slightly dicing up for them now.
Surely it couldn't happen again.
I never say never.
I mean, we've had some great stories throughout this tournament. Probably if you're a FaZe fan, that is not going to be one, but imagine if it happened again. And that's what they're talking about. They just need 1 round. And, well, theoretically, we might go back to Command here. The round that they won. But remember how they won it. It was a 2 versus 4. Really, if things were playing out in a sort of similar fashion, it would be, you know, at this point, a 5 to sort of 4 situation within only a single round. So, FaZe are well aware that this is sort of slipping on the second half.
Yeah, and they're just trying to, you know, reel it back in now. That's what they call that tactical timeout. You know, they've seen every single site now on how it was defended. They've managed to take away 1. They need to find yet 1 more. And Palu, currently 17 kills removed from breaching the 1,000 as well. I mean, he kind of needs this to go a bit of a distance, because otherwise he's going to have to wait a year to try and breach the 1,000 club.
That's a long
wait. And he would have to qualify as well, of course. It's not just, you know, there's no invite for being close to 1,000 kills. 6-3. FaZe just got the tactical timeout. They've seen every single site defended by Liquid at least once. So now they probably will have that plan of attack ready. They know how they want to approach this. Last time they kind of struggled a little bit. And if it wasn't for KDS to get that amazing, basically 1v2 on one of the sides with the Vendetta while Cyber was occupying Clash, it would have been the 5-4 now, and it would have been a way dicier situation for FaZe. And Liquid starting to grow into it. Look at all those quick Azami barriers just being tossed up. Nesk is like, you know what, those mezzanines, they are mine. You are not taking that away from me. And if you try, you will die.
They have themselves the chance with the Ying, something quick and aggressive, potentially on towards the site itself. Get in, get their removes, and get gone. They know that they can sort of break these holds, and there is always the exploration of the players underneath. There was great C4 usage from before. We've had rounds where I think the opening 2 kills have been from vertical explosives, but taking their time, eyes on towards blue, and as I said, resets ready and ripped. Cyber takes a bit of damage, putting a hard breach charge on towards a wall that was slightly electrified to get timings, and they do have themselves connector and jungle open, regardless of which term you use for it.
Yeah.
I trust Pengu, and Pengu says jungle.
Connector jungle? Oh, jungle. Does it call it both?
Because it's just called, it's called connector officially in the game, but it's not.
It's not really a connector between sides, right?
When you have the little box corner that people also use, so jungle is, if you're wondering why we do that, blame Pengu. Smoke canisters on towards the back of IT. Pressure and precious moments gone. Those C4s, well, there's still at least one on pop somewhere, and one still in pocket, and that is that long arm strategy. First did not net anything, but neither of these Bs or anything else they've thrown in does force the players further back, but there's a minute left here, and all they've done is drive them into what turns into a shooting gallery. KDS pushes them home. There is 3. All from a swing up the blue stairs and a flawless. Well, we aren't having the repeat we had before. FaZe do what needed to be done on Liquid's map.
Very convincing victory, even though, you know, some of those rounds started to look a bit dicey still. A 7-3 to take home. A very convincing first map from FaZe, making it 8-0 on the year. And they will likely be looking to make that a 9-0 as well to close it off.
I mean, this is a series that you want to see go further, and, well, let's go no further right now, but to a break.
Keep an eye out for contact.
Available now.
Welcome back, everybody, and what a way to continue with this. I mean, FaZe is absolutely rolling over Liquid in map number 1 here on. I just don't even know what to say. This was so fast. FaZe just hitting shots that I haven't seen in a long time. We have this up as kind of El Clásico, but it was more of a El Boringo for map 1.
That was supposed to be Liquid's map pick as well, Milosh. That was supposed to be the one that they won. And I will say it time and time again, me and you, Leo, we said the attacks are going to be what determines success inside of this best of 3. And to put it bluntly, Liquid had some horrible attacks. I'm seeing the way that FaZe will play on the defense is they will let you execute. They're not a team that's that oppressive. They will play layers and layers and layers and let it get to the execute in the late moments. But when you execute, you've got to be so much better than them. And Liquid were just pushing sight, but all from one direction very often. No backstab, no external pressure, no utility to execute into. They were just walking into sight and getting absolutely shot down. That 5-1 attack defense half for FaZe basically just set them up for the success. They just needed to win tertiary sites from there on out. That's what they did.
It completely killed the match. Lack of strategy, in my opinion. Like many moments, FaZe just with utility were already winning the match and just playing the time off of it. And then huge fraggers stepping up, as you can see right now on your screen, right? Cyber is back. Cyber is dropping double digits. He's going 15-6. That's the kind of things that matters, especially when you're in late rounds and you're playing for that very late round denial. You need big guys to step up, to play in the right position and to deliver multi-kills, and that's what happened.
And he was one of the players in the pregame that we said for FaZe. He is one of the big hitters not delivering inside of this map. He did.
Yeah, and you both are setting this up. Everybody's got to step up. The 2 players that are supposed to be the spearhead of FaZe Clan need to step up, and they did. And my God, did they? Rolling over Liquid.
We were missing KDS, we were missing Cyber. Well, they showed up. Let's take a look at round 7. You'll see. You'll see Souls 1. First of all, he was actually crazy with a shot on the C4 that was instrumental. Like, look at this. He wants to take control here of this literal room, sends the Urge and the flash, removes that player. As soon as he sees that, he knows the C4 is coming, and he's slowly shooting that.
Crazy.
An incredible experience from this player to just be aware of that. Then it's a 2v4, and look at Cyber and KDS opening the bomb site in half. And there's just by pure pressure on both sides, win every single gunfight. They're the only reason some of these rounds went the way of FaZe, and that's what they needed. Big fraggers to step up big.
That's what happens when you're just played hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of rounds on this map. You can predict the timing. This is what we call in the industry game sense. Right?
Absolutely. We're not going to be far off 50 rounds played for FaZe on this map inside of this tournament. And I think, yeah, Cyber was one of the players along with KDS that we challenged to step up, and he absolutely did. You can see from these stats.
And I think that's a big story for me, is that I feel like Team Liquid's Light Heavy Labs was not tested. Yes, they played it against a Wanted, but it was not at all the same caliber of teams that FaZe played it on. They had, like you said, almost 50 rounds played on that map in a single week. Obviously, they're well trained.
And they had 6 rounds to warm up on the defense because Liquid were really, really fumbling those attacks into them. So you're giving Cyber, you're giving KDS, you're giving Handy a lot of energy. You're giving them 6 rounds to warm up into the game. And when they get on their attacks, they look better because they've got that confidence already inside of the map.
And so, gentlemen, the pressure is on Team Liquid. The onus is on them. They have to come back and tie this up to take it to a map 3. What happens in that case? Will they even make it, if anything? Because if they don't, they're out of the entirety of SI. We're going to have to talk about all of that and more after the break.
There are many great players who are not champions, who have never lifted the hammer, who might never lift the hammer. And it's not because they aren't good enough, they just might not put in what it requires to really get there. Because they are the goods and not the greats.
There is not 1 hour of the day where your mind can be off siege. You have to sacrifice everything to win.
If you were to win any event and call it quits, it would probably be the Six Invitational.
Chegar no topo uma vez, então assim foi um momento de muita emoção.
The Invitational is, the kind of the final checkpoint, the final test. It meant the world to me.
History will be made here because for the first time on home soil, a Brazilian team will win a world championship.
The only thing that matters is the 4 guys next to you, your coach, and the screen in front of you.
No one ever really just goes and wins. You have to go through the pain, the hardships.
FaZe are exploding!
You have to go all in, that's it.
Quem perdeu foi nós tudo ali, e a gente que vai virar isso aqui agora.
Você tem que confiar muito no seu time.
Não vamos desistir, não vamos desistir.
When you truly want to become the best, you truly have to believe that you are, because you have to play it 100%.
I'll never get over how good the music is for this. Though here we are, back again. FaZe Clan demolishing Liquid on map number 1 in the series. Nighthaven Labs going 7-3 to them. We come back for just a minute before we get into map 2. Gents, FaZe looking on the up and up, Leo.
Yeah, absolutely. Good momentum, great fraggers, full of confidence, exactly what we needed from them. Even in attack, better strategies overall.
Yeah.
Now they're headed to their map pick, Jack.
Yeah, they head to their map pick, and Leo, they are starting defense on Cafe, which is one of the most defender-sided maps. They've picked it, and Liquid, who cannot attack for Toffee, have chose to start attack. I don't understand it. It's a big no in my mind, because Liquid could well be facing 0-4, 0-5 down because they're struggling so hard on their attacks right now, and they're already one map down.
Friends, remember to check on your Team Liquid fans in your life just in case here. What happens? How do Liquid bring this back, if at all?
It's very tough for them. I will say this was a move from them. They chose to go attack. They must have cooked something. This is Counter-Strat. Just go with the plan. And if it doesn't work, throw it away and go for frags.
I would just like to see them be a little bit more unpredictable. All of their attacks on Nighthaven was so scripted. FaZe knew what was coming. Something that's just a little bit off the cuff.
It is simple. If Liquid do not win this map and take it to a third, they're out of the Six Invitational 2025. El Clasico continues. Thanks so much, gents. On the other end, it's Fluke and Hab. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Milos. And yes, here we are, FaZe versus Team Liquid. Maybe that's why I'm red. Maybe that's why you're dressed up like you own a horse. But we'll see if you can have a little bit more success on the other side of it, as they are probably literally after
less than a day. You already bullied me away.
Yeah, well, I said I was going to say something silly. But yeah, I mean, Liquid, we just need to see more from them at this point, obviously. As they pointed out, it's, you know, well predicted and well rehearsed, but that's kind of what Cafe is. There's some stuff you've got to do in a very complicated attack pattern. You've got to kind of get your approaches quite slow and steady and landed, and will Liquid have enough left in them?
It's got to be a bit more liquid in their attacks.
Well,
a lesser joke than yours, I guess. But just also say, oh, you're Dutch. Liquid is Dutch or
what?
Yeah, you could have gone that way as well, instead of dressed as a horse.
Yeah, but
yeah. Well,
Grim removed. Will Monty be removed? I mean, it obviously didn't show up anywhere near as much at this point, but FaZe didn't really care. Striker gone. Obviously the rework recruit with some great malleability in the gadgetry they can bring.
Yeah, just having the opportunity to bring 2 of those secondary gadgets is, you know, sometimes on some maps actually a nice thing to have. Think about Heartbreach, think about like the EMPs that you can bring among some of the other things. Doc to be removed as well. It's not an operator you would often see banned out. And Mira, the last one to go. One of the architects to be gone. So, as we are getting in the way, Cafe, round number 1, FaZe on defense. It was a bit questionable, according to the desk, considering Liquid have struggled on their attack throughout this entire tournament so far.
Yeah, that is gonna be the roughest point here, right? They've got to set themselves up in towards where they've been struggling. They've got to see if they can try and break the mold of a tournament where they are on the back foot already. Whoever loses this series is gone. Good night, Six Invitational 2025. Hello, a long wait for the next chance, the next opportunity.
Yeah. And well, talking about the 1,000 kill statistic, Palu needing 17 more. Was able to get a total of 8 in the last map. Nask and Cyber have been able to extend their lead slightly. Power's definitely catching up, though, to be the most deadly player that we've ever seen on SI. Get going. Starting off in the ground floor. There's actually no basement on this site. I think it's one of the only maps that we have that does not have a basement in the defensive map pool. Yeah, it usually confuses me when I see kitchen, I somehow say basement. It's a very logical space to have a kitchen, you know, in the basement.
You know,
yeah.
It's where, I mean, if you start trying to break down the structure of these maps, I think there's like where's the bathroom on this map? It's all the way on the top floor.
Yeah. Such a not like, I mean, there's no bedrooms because of course it's a cafe, but
like, imagine if you're at this cafe and they're like, can I use the toilet? And it's like, yeah, go up
3 floors.
Yeah, go up 2 flights of stairs. and it's by the room with the piano.
Yeah.
You know the one.
Yeah, you know
Also,
the one.
we have like 4 Christmas trees.
Like Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening
Cyber.
around Christmas, and this is happening around the outside. Cyber, he's stuck. Surely he doesn't get anything from this. Now there's a shield. Yep, Nesk had the cover. He was hoping that maybe he could catch 1 player, maybe 2. And to be honest, if he was like 4 seconds later, well, he probably wouldn't have got anyone because they would be inside the building. If he was a little bit earlier, though, maybe.
Yeah.
Surprise take on towards one of them, but instead, the Mozzie handed over early and pretty much bloodlessly as well from the side of Liquid.
Yeah, just a little bit of damage done onto Nesk. Nothing really too much to worry about. It's going to be alive. It's going to have all his utility. Didn't really have to use anything to get that kill. You mentioned it, bloodless, but also utilityless in that case. In the meantime, Bugies are starting to open up together with the skeleton key that Maya is bringing along. Going to be making sure that this kitchen is going to have an open top floor plan as Palu will find handy. Going to be 1 more kill in the tally of Liquid before Vita King strikes back on the first floor, rotated up.
Nest gone, Sense gone, the ROUs only in your pockets if you have big plans for it, and now they've got to try and operate without them. Vita King somehow fights his way out as he hears the heavy motion of a shield behind him. The Monty has danger on brown stairs as well. There's such a narrow margin, but Maya wins it out, gets rid of Vita King. Still, think about the site. Think about where they're fighting. Think about what still needs to be done. And Souls, you can try and pop that and slow them. They're droning out the sort of bar side and cocktail and making sure that nobody's trying to put the pressure and serve them up here on the seating area. But that reveal, that moment, that worry, that I've got to get out of here. He knows he's going to be watched from one side or the other. He buys himself 15 seconds. They actually rotate their way off and he's gifted a fight. A 2 versus 2. Lagonis and Maya have the choice. Do we shut him down on the side for a second? That was a nightmare, but the Monty survives, drops the player 13 seconds. They know full well where KDS is. So KDS goes away. Gets the first round, highlighted as being a great multiplayer. Is he one of the greats? Well, maybe if they can try and drive this series back in, he'll prove the point of why Monty is so banned against Liquid.
Had to go aggressive out there, knew that the time was going to be running out, the player rotating out of the freezer, so decided to just go for it, finds him the kill. Liquid as well, finding themselves the round. More importantly, I mean, this was the very first fight. Nesk onto Cyber was an important one to take. I mean, he was trying to waste some time out there, trying to find himself a kill, hoping probably to find that Montaigne. A little bit of struggle as Vita King rotated up, found themselves on the pillars, finds 2 kills on the back of it as well. It wasn't a clean round by any means for the side of Liquid. Beautiful shots to come in the end there. And this is the momentum that they need to build on. They need to get these rounds underway. And they need to start building on that lead as well. They chose to go attack. They have to prove why they did. Because if FaZe is going to be going away with this with a 4-2 or a 5-1 split, yeah, you'll question it. But they've done the first step. They've gotten that first round on the way. And now onto the top floor we go.
Liquid, first step, first split, and what, their 4th round for this series so far in total, but the perfect start. This was always going to be an uphill. And to be able to get the ball rolling so early makes the game feel a lot more possible and plausible. Here, FaZe, a bit of a false start, but remember how they started. Cyber throwing himself out of the top floor and trying to catch a fight on East, and unfortunately catching too much of one. The break destruction of the control of top white as well. And a steady approach. As I said, you know, your sort of approaches on towards this map are usually very well stated. There's not much hiding you can do, especially on this top floor, but top floor has fallen out of favor for a lot of teams.
Now, the last time these two teams met on this specific map, it was in the Supercopa do Brasil. It was a 7-3 victory, for FaZe, and only 2 rounds were won by Liquid on the attack. So that's going to be the benchmark we're looking for, to at least find those 2, and then see if they can basically expand on it. A bit of a challenge coming in from the top of the white stairs. Just quickly checking out the window, nothing really happening. Reset is definitely making himself known, though. But Currently FaZe not giving in and not trying to take that challenge, just being calm, being collected, and trying to stay hidden, not giving them the fights that they're not sure about they can win.
Well, a reveal that nobody's been on that corner for a second gives them a bit of space, but all 10 players still standing, and people are getting a little bit angsty. You can see Souls rebuilding, re-preparing on the windows. They're making sure that they're not going to give them an inch at this point, but underneath, what can be worked out here? It's Resets and Deimos. That's going to be the combo as they try and spray themselves up towards the first fight, just opening angles. They haven't gone for the track as of yet, but the Azami is going to stay solid. Who else is? Bottom white. They seem to be aware of the fight, and Vidiking a bit back and forth. Both take bites, but from the vertical, Handy gets that as KDS gets Nesk around the drop on the hatch itself, and now Lugonis stuck, isolated on the side of it, makes his way on the Blackbeard, round towards the default plant as Palu gets a bit of control on towards top white. 20 seconds or so, and instead he's trying to isolate a fight here. Resets is stuck and locked outside, hoping to get a gift of an engagement, but, well, they're pre-firing, they're fully aware on where he is. Palu, in the meantime, doing everything he can on white stairs, gets a third, and suddenly it's a 2 versus 1, but just too much for Palu to get himself over.
Definitely pulling in the hard work there, but it's not enough to find that round. It kind of fell apart a little bit earlier when they were working that verticality from the first floor, losing 2 people in the process from the same verticality. FaZe equalize that score, put us to 1-1. Again, they also know we've faced off on this map. It was not a tier 1 event, but nonetheless, you want to win every game you play in this game. See Nesk and Maya both taken down at the very same time. Palu trying to fight back, getting quite some kills for the efforts, but it's just too much to fight off in the end. And that pushes us to a third site. We're going towards reading and dining. For this site, often top floor, very important. You want to take care of that, you want to have that verticality, but more importantly, you want to make sure that defense doesn't have that verticality, so you can actually try and edge in a plant on the reading room side of the map. Now, if you go dining, that is usually a bit of a different approach. It's a bit quicker. It's often coming down with some other piece of utility. It's not to say they're not going to be going for it. Definitely have the opportunity to, because there is currently a big lack of verticality around in Piano. I think there's only 1 player that is currently around there, so you have the opportunity to just go near engine room, try and get yourself through in a horizontal level, not really bother too much about that top floor.
One apiece. And, well, FaZe, they sort of locked themselves down. As I said before, you know, as a site, it's fallen out of favor a bit. You'll find still it has some play throughout the tournament, and still it's had some played by these teams. But, you know, from where it once was as the sort of go-to, the defense win is under 50%. Across it, Reading Room Fireplace is one of the strongest sites, played more, 56% win rate. So at this point, they've actually gone to somewhere where they might be able to get themselves up to 2-1, but it's away we go almost immediately. KDS gets Palu, though, in the cover and the blitz. Well, they're on a mute jammer, so there was nothing the blitz could do in that situation. They saw it, and they knew it, and they were executed for it. 4 versus 3. They do get some of the cover, and Resets gets one right back at Deimos, driving with a shotgun, and now tucked close in here, a rotate round, Cyber escapes. They don't want to give him the next engagement, but instead they open themselves up some engagements of their own. Souls is so worried about being encircled as the Deimos track works. He rebuilds himself some safety, but it is a very narrow line they're all running on.
As I said, I probably will be looking to go through engine, through trains, see if they maybe can go for the dining. However, FaZe is currently fighting this off. They're not giving it up for free. There are some punch holes out here that Cyber is looking to utilize. This drone should give away. His position should lead into a pre-fire. There's definitely some pings, and you have a Maya will take down Cyber. He's going to be impactless for the rest of this round. And now a 2-on-3 in favor of Liquid as they're looking to get that plan down.
Just need to find a way to cross this divide, but Souls, with a failed death mark, screams his way around 90 and gets the cover. There's some bait, the plant, and they drive themselves in. They're looking for the engagement that Nesk wins out. Can he get his own one? It's Scrappy, but he cannot finish the player. They have time, and as the army crawls his way back, Nest has the plant, the cover, and the ROU wall acting as the down. One more for him, and he cannot find it. Nest! The margin was about 5 HP.
He ran out of ammo there. He was taking a fight and just ran out, had to reload. A single bullet would have done the job. And Liquid find themselves their second round. They've evened the score that they've been able to put onto the attack half last time they were here on Cafe. They still have 3 more rounds to try and improve on it. Great cover coming in there from Vita King, though. Like, the blitz, of course, was basically stuck because of the Mew Jammer. Was just having a bit of an awkward stare, hoping for a teammate to come around the corner and try and assist. However, the activeness around Dining was unseen, unspotted, uncontrolled. He found himself a kill. This was a scrappy fight there onto KDS. Is he running out of ammo there? He's swapping over towards the pistol as Nest gets that final kill.
Traded rounds. Nest popping off, kind of what we wanted here. Palu, 4 more kills on his tally across this opening 3 rounds.
Yeah, 13 to go.
13 to go, and, well, how many rounds could be left in this? Do the math, boy. 4 to 3.
Could be a total of 12 rounds left. It could be a total of 5, depending if Liquid take it here. And, of course, if they do, there's another map to go.
There is another map. I think for Palu's record keeping, well, winning the whole series is probably the best option, but if it happens in this series, 2 maps is maybe...
It could be enough.
It could be. It's just 2 aces and a few more.
Yeah, exactly. 2 aces and a little bit of change. You find yourself ready.
Just shoot them in the head.
Make sure Fresh is to donate extra money towards charity.
Yeah. I don't know what the current total is, but good job, Fresh. And good job, players.
Yeah, I was going to say good job, players, to getting all those aces on the board.
FaZe. You know, that was easily the closest round so far between all of it. Yes, the first round also operated in quite a sort of 2 versus 1 situation, but knocking on the door, a single 1 versus 1 engagement on the back end as, well, the hero of it, Nesk, is the first removal here. But Palu does find Cyber, who has been entirely shut out of Cafe so far, unable to get himself into any of these engagements, unable to get himself safely around the map even.
He had 15 kills on a previous map. He's been doing really well, and just right now, completely shut out, cannot find a single connection for the life of it. Are they going to be aware of the fact that there is going to be a player right behind it? Oh, just delayed on the pop-up. Handy throws at the Nitro Cell. Believe it might have been shut out. No, but blows up. And Maya comes around the corner to shut him down. And that means Liquid now do have the man advantage as well.
Yeah, clean take there across the top. It was almost tragic. They had the reveal of the player, and they're not taking any chances here. Lagonis is making sure that he's moving around the map. He's very agile. He's getting all the checks in, and there's always at least a Liquid player within about 10 paces. So it's a good utilization of that Monty. You can see Myra sort of coordinating and playing around the line of approach here. Resets, getting some of that pressure alleviated and opened here on towards Bakery side. Draw their focus. You've got 2 guns from Bakery and Wedding, currently angled up towards there, but with 50 seconds at some point, Liquid, they're gonna have to decide if they want to try and face up against what is a stronghold there, or go back to the take before. Around Bar, around VIP, and around Freezer instead.
Slide information being gained and denied. They have the man count. They need to leverage this. The Montaigne is definitely going to be putting up some pressure. However, Vita King currently hidden. There's a big worry out here. Another bunch of explosives being tossed at Lagonis. None seem to connect though, but the bullets definitely do. As Vita King and KDS both take down one, suddenly FaZe take the lead in this round, and yet another falls to the hands of Souls. Maya, the last man standing in 9 seconds, will find 1 for his efforts, but 2 more to go, and the kit that's down cold will not be successful, and FaZe equalize the score yet once more.
Round and round we go, 2 to 2. We find ourselves in, and yeah, Liquid, although they were able to get sort of an opener and get themselves going and putting the pressure on and get their second and focus down towards the site, they were just out of time, really, for their positioning, for where they needed to go. How big of a cost losing Sens was in the pockets of Nesk. Yeah, as I said, it's a very specific gadget that is bought on approaches, and oh, that is a tragic loss. That would kill me. That's a frustrating one.
It's a beautiful one on the replay, though.
Oh,
just using
great capture.
Using the free cam out there. But yeah, that's a bit of a tilter. You thought you would have had information out there, knew someone was there. Not the case. FaZe on the back of that as well. Of course, managed to leverage the number, find themselves in a 2-2. Even though they were for a second a man down, as Handy stayed up top, was eventually hunted down by 2 players and shut down. But again, you know, Liquid, they got what they had last time around. They have those 2 attacking rounds. They'll be looking for 3, they'll be looking for 4. It's a defense side of map, the most defensive side of map we have currently. So if they manage to find a 3rd round, they're setting themselves up for success.
Back towards the top. Will this be the first doubling down of success? As you said, they can set themselves up going through here, but at the same time, Liquid, if they can sort of keep the round trading and sort of like, oh, you took our kitchen, well, we will take your cocktail. We will get your top floor hold in response.
Yep.
It's the chance of a Nook from the side of resets. It's sort of a classic play on this side, to be honest, finding your way up white stairs. And
is that a Finka LMG?
Yeah, they've come back. They've come back in a big way. No, we've seen quite a few Finger LMGs at the tournament so far as well. We've seen a few big LMG swings as well, and just holding down the angles. And
that's what they're good for. Holding down those angles, you can just keep firing. And they're just holding off now on the skylight, hoping for someone to step by, and not happening as of yet. FaZe as well know, of course, that's going to be watched. It is basically that cat and mouse play. Are you brave enough to try and challenge someone on the skylight and basically risk your life? I mean, you'll just see a pixel of the man on top whilst your entire body is exposed. And as Handy shuts down another drone, the first minute has passed. And is there any control on the side of Liquid? Well, resets, he's in the building, but he's down below. He's trying to clear out some of those roamers, trying to slowly get himself under control. And someone from the red window is starting to make a bit of entry as well. And Handy, again, finding himself on a roam.
Well, the Nook might be about to find a fight in dining they're not aware of, but look at how they're using the Monty in response. They're forcing the player out. They're hoping they just hit the door, run out, and the Nook can be there sneakily to get the headshot, but Handy needs to have that pressure. The Monty will make their way around, and they've actually opted to go the way that they're not entirely prepared for. Handy might not know that he saved his own life, but well, he probably has there, and instead he can go be a problem later. And yes, as you said, there is a minute. Resets is now hoping he rotates his way up white stairs, but he doesn't have to yet. There's no pressure now. There's nothing that's forcing his motion other than this. A death, the first one, falls across the side of Piano, and well, the fight towards Pixel doesn't entirely net anything, but now they have at least something they can build behind.
Yeah, there's that kill. There's at least a bit of ground that they know is relatively safe. They know of about one other player, almost. Nesk having the opportunity there to take up the head of the Izami. Sometimes the ponytail kind of gives away the game. And the pre-fire getting quite close as well towards the Izami, but Souls finds him instead. A sledge coming in from the new balcony, all shut down by Maya. The trades come down left, right, and center.
Well, Resets is finally getting some activation here. The Nook is revealed a bit, though. They're ready for the fight, and, well, not that one. Forced further and further away. Cover the chance of the rotate up white. Handy's holding himself off. They still need to plant, and Handy doesn't have a C4, so tries to fight his way up. You take our kitchen, we take your cocktail.
Doubling down now, the name of the game that they need to try and go for. They've already improved compared to the last time they were here to find themselves a 3rd attacking round on a very defense-sided map. So, Liquid are having some good cards for the rest of this map right now, for the rest of this game. They still need to bring it home. They still need to reel this in. And they have one more round to do it on the attack to see if they can basically double down on previous records and start to break that spree again. 8-0 in maps this year for FaZe against Liquid. That's definitely a demon that you have sitting on your shoulders.
FaZe, just as your round went away from you, will you get yourself ironed out here? You know, again, there's still a game of 2 halves ahead of us. Again, we sort of tie our eyes back to how things went on the previous half and the previous map even. And what you had there was FaZe sort of locking in a lot on their sort of defense. It drifted away a bit on their attack, but then they come back with strength towards the end. They have the capabilities.
Cyber's completely shut out now, though. Like 5 rounds in a row, not been able to have a single impact after he dropped 15 on map 1.
Well, that's it. It's not just 15, it was 15 to 6 as well.
Yeah.
It shows the comparison that how good he was on map 1 and how rough it's been here on map 2. He's almost at a 1.0 KD. Not quite, but almost from the series.
Yes. Which is still positive and great. I mean, a lot of players don't make it, but after you have 15-6, that'll be 0-5. It's definitely not the kind of second map that you were hoping for. FaZe, of course, are looking to basically repick their own from last year. They want to be in that grand final again. They want to lift the hammer this time around.
Candelas and Smokes all entirely chugged through, and they were ready for Fire! Still wins it out, and they are exploding across the side itself. Tears the head off for one, follows through for the second, and well, you call for LMGs, and there's another excellent demonstration of their position in the right hands. Cyber, we said we wanted to see more. He's got a first fight to his right, he's missed. Oh, he somehow still wins it, and there he is. An initial kill, but a post-plant. With the vertical fight, with everything watched and locked down here, Liquid. You'd say there's no way they'd lose this, and they don't, but 2 rounds threaded in a row, a 4-2 half for Team Liquid.
A wonderful half to come through from Liquid, finding themselves in this situation. The desk was questioning, why go to attack? You have been absolutely abysmal throughout the event on this side of the map. But they've just proved them wrong. They've gone 4 rounds here. They've set themselves up for success. They now need to sing it through. As they go over to the defense, you instantly see the clash coming out as well. Well, you don't, but we do. And we're headed towards the kitchen. We've also started counting down for Palu. 10 kills to go, and he joins the exclusive club. Is it Centurions? 1,000? Is that a century, right? Is that 1,000? What? Millennia. Yeah, I was going to say Centuries. That's 100. Yeah. No, I got that wrong. It's like, what is the word then for, like when you have a centurion, it's like something 100. I don't know if there's a word for 1,000. Like you would say millennia, but it's not really something you can put up to a person, right?
I don't know. I think you're.
I mean, you're English, you know.
Yeah,
anybody
I know.
would know
But this
the word.
is like a military. You're inventing a term.
I mean, centurion is not an invented term.
No, I know that.
Just wondering if there is something.
But a centurion is like a figure from history, right? They're a military figure from history. You're just trying to be like they should have made another one, which is a bigger number. Why don't they just make one for a million soldiers? And call them a million-y.
A million-y.
I don't know, Hap. I don't know what you're getting at here.
I was just wondering if there was a word for it. There's not, so, you know, we're just going to call it the 1,000 Club.
Hey,
then.
anyone that wants to invent a word out there, there's your word you can invent.
You know, I'll do it. I'll workshop it a little bit.
All right. 4-2. And now FaZe, they have their chance here to try and open themselves up with a bit of a bang. They did that on the other map. They did that on the other split. They're able to get themselves that opening sort of attack from a 2-4 man deficit. And a round like that here would absolutely reinvigorate the team who's otherwise been, I'm not going to say entirely locked out, but they've struggled to deal with both the sort of frag game from Liquid, which has been so sharp and so effective on this map, and also just how Liquid is moving around the play space. It's a similar sort of hold and ideal here. Though they've got the clash of Lagonis still as a consistent. It is just down on the basement. Come and find us, come and fight us, and choose which route you want.
If one thing's for certain, the Monty's going to be banned next game if we are headed towards the map number 3, because it has been impressive, it has been clearing those roamers. And Lagonis now on that clash. Well, that might make an appearance as well. But first, Liquid will have to lock this one off. There is so much utility here towards this freezer. There is a clash that's holding it down. There's 2 Goyo pockets. That plant probably... Oh, no, never mind. That might just blow up both of them and the bot wire. So it's just Lagonis now. It's trying to hold this tight. A minute left.
I mean, that's it, right? A minute left. They're getting rid of the Goyos. By the time those burn out, about 45 seconds if you're wanting to go immediately, but there's a clash watching all of this. And we've seen Lagonis play a clash in this situation before in a hidden Maestro bubble tucked around the side of the Cabinet 2. There's the pings in the reveal, the flash on the player inside VIP, the second and the drop of the hatch itself. The Capitao will burn out that clash and force them further and further back and away. They cannot find the end of it, but Cyber does get Nesk. There's a bit more cover. There's an important fight for Cyber to win out 2 kills, and he's able to scream his way towards Bar, but Fitter King under the cover of smoke going for a plant, and that Maestro bubble we talked about before. What a position for it as it cuts his hat off. They body block and drop it. They should be able to confirm the plant. Lagonis is the only one standing. A quad for Cyber. Will he get the ace? Yes, he will! Fresh! Eyes up, buddy! FaZe are doing FaZe things. Cyber, from only having a single impact on the first half, a single kill, 1-6, is now even.
This is what I was going to say. Like, the man dropped a single kill in 6 rounds, and he's like, you know what? I heard Emmy talk. I don't want to be ending this game on a 1 KD. You know what? Let's just drop an ace in there for good measure. What a round from him. And like what? Like game knowledge and just awareness of where everything was coming from as well. Slagon is the last one to fall. Cyber, great round from him. FaZe, 3-4. And Liquid, whilst they have done a great job in that first half, still have plenty of time to figure out their defenses.
I mean, you can never shut out these players.
No, I mean, there's a reason they have 1,000 kills in this side only.
Like, imagine you're watching this game at home. You're doing something on your other monitor. You're working. Credit to all you people working, watching.
Exactly, yeah.
I love you. You look down, you look up, and you're like, wait, Cyber was 1-6.
He had 1 kill, now he's only on 6?
Huh? But no, I mean, brilliant sort of play, but also how they set themselves up, obviously. As I said before, the kill game was sort of escaping them. That hold was a bit of utility pressure on towards it. They force the clash out. They go for the cover of the plant. In the meantime, Cyber wins out a 2K by seemingly himself. I'm not sure if he used, we saw the flashes to get themselves round the corner and over the stairs, but then from that point onwards, how he actually netted the first kill we didn't see. The second was, well, he won the swing. And I mean, it just shows in that pure instance. Because if that kill goes away, they suddenly have the control behind the space of you, and you're probably not going to be able to force your way in towards the plant in that position. But 3-4, Liquid, they are still in this advantageous position. Although Maya gets 1 and Maya gets 2 as KDS straight it out of Maya for 3.
Back-to-back aces.
I mean, buried himself deep across the balcony. Finds what was just gift after gift after gift of FaZe players falling from the heavens and then finding themselves in the afterlife.
I mean, it was already a bit confused because Paolo was standing there. He took out a Twitch drone. They dropped with their backs towards him. Yeah, Maya able to pick them all up. He just seen on the bulletproof camera where the last 2 players are. They're in Cigar. He has an opportunity to go for it. He sees one, he gets the quad, and back-to-back aces, Maya!
Are you kidding me? You can do it, we can do it too! Maya!
What a game this is! It's just a back-to-back ace to go through. I know you just said Fresh, like, hey, Fresh, ace number 7, on round number 7 to go in. I'm thinking there's going to be a message, hey, Fresh, ace round number 8 to go through.
No, I just, because we messaged, obviously we're messaging when all of this happens to keep on top of it.
Yeah.
I messaged him and said, yep, there's this ace is around.
Yeah.
I just added, Fresh, you'll never believe it. ...
There's been another.
I mean, it's just excellent. Outstanding.
Oh my, oh my.
Maya, now again, screaming their way up there and putting themselves in a position. He has, overall in the tournament, been the best rated player for Team Liquid as well. Even though he's not, you know, the one breaking these kill records, he's so important towards it. He was strong in some of their bigger games. The ones that they were able to win, obviously, was Joel. And then he was also one of the sort of top performers alongside Nesk against M80, but I mean,
Put ahead of the Blackbeard as well.
He did it all on a single plane of vision as well.
Yeah, he was playing around new balcony in the door. That's all he did.
He could have done that in 2D with how it was sort of offered up to him there.
He only watched a single direction of the map, a single compass point. He played through a single door. Like, that's it. He's moved about 2 meters in that entire round. After the prep phase ended, finds himself an ace in the back of it. FaZe just kind of fed through it as well. I mean, the 3 people dropped the hatch, quick succession. He gets all 3 of them. And Maya just locks in a casual round there for the side of Liquid, who find themselves 3-5 now. 2 rounds away from pushing us to a map number 3 for this series. And 2 rounds away from breaking the curse they've had against FaZe of just losing everything, no matter where, no matter what, no matter when.
I mean, what a sort of way to rally yourself as well, right? With all the pressures of going home from SI, all the danger, all the threat of who you're up against and when, and they just refuse to stop. They have found their 6th gear. Now, as Cyber gets some clarity over towards reading, it's a C4 that removes the sledge. They still have the buck, so the soft isn't impossible. But another body advantage, another entry slips away from the side of FaZe here. You know, and at first they were doing okay with it. They got 3 of the first 4 rounds, but since then, 4 of the last 5, I believe, has been all Liquid's opening.
It has definitely been a game here for Liquid. They're stepping up, almost Nesk losing his life there. Just a little bit of damage done through that wall. He is looking to eye back into that fight as Handy is trying to get himself into the bathroom. Cyber will find the kill into Nesk. Brings it back to 4-4 as he continues to work on his own tally. And a minute 30, they still need to clear out this entire top 4. They then still need to work on the verticality towards the site itself and get their hands on that plant down below. So a lot of work to still do.
Well, Lagonis is towards the bottom of red as well. They're sort of waiting and hoping. They rotate round behind them. He's in a position with a minute 10 left to be absolutely devastating. Obviously, could try and put the pressure on towards Brown, but there's probably a little bit more of a heavy watch from that location. There's nothing that's really forcing them out of the mining position, out of the red stairs position. It's all eyes on the verticality for now. So at some point, FaZe, they're going to have to try and get some control of Pillar. They're sort of proposing themselves on towards the default plant, inside reading, and you don't just want to throw yourself over an edge. Last time that happened, it went away. Arnu killed Maya and got caught. Oh no! A disaster has struck as Souls gets Lagonis. And in the blink of an eye, that round absolutely flipped on its head.
Started off great, having the entry, of course. There was a trade here and there, but then Nitro Cell killing your teammate as you're being shut down. Definitely not the way they would have seen that round going after the back-to-back aces we've seen. But that's also part of the game. The clumsy moments where an accidental team kill happens and a round just falls apart instantly afterwards. And as round 10 is being entered, what happened here? Okay, no, that was just the first Nitro Cell. Yeah, okay. I'm curious to see how it happened.
Oh, wait. Was it thrown up onto the soft and shot off by the buck? That's the only thing I can think of.
No, because it was Paolo down below, so like he detonated it as he was being shot.
But Paolo died in that fight, right?
Yeah, he died on the vertical that was being opened.
Yeah. So maybe he threw the C4 up, it got loose, or he messed up the throw and it arced.
But then it would have gone on himself.
That's true. I don't know.
I think.
Some mysteries we don't need to solve. Like Scooby-Doo and the gang always say. Well, they don't ever say that. They actually solve.
I thought they do solve mysteries.
They solve a decent amount of mysteries. I don't know why I'm disparaging.
I don't think that, Scooby-Doo is about not solving mysteries. That kind of would make for a bad show.
I believe the show is about solving mysteries. Liquid, I mean, still traded rounds. The fact that in the middle of this, yes, they got off to the first step, and then they were able to thread 2 rounds together, something FaZe have not been able to do at all throughout this game, means that if they can just keep the pace they're up to, if they can keep themselves sort of on this course, they should be able to still wrap this map up pretty well.
Not taking care of the Valkyrie camera there, that's a question. I'm not sure if he ran out of charges on that Twitch drone, he's just waiting for it to recharge, or there's a reason why they leave that up. I mean, they pinged it out. Get it from a vertical, not quite sure right away. Maya opening up the hatch is gonna provide a fallback route for himself and Nesk, who are playing around on that top floor, trying to hold on for dear lives for as long as possible as well. And the drones are definitely giving away some of the information as Maya's looking to go a bit adventurous here. Sees the windows, trying to... If he could sit in there, he would at this point. And with the E1D popping off, no one can move for a couple of seconds. They're just trying to isolate 1 or 2 of these fights, but except for Cyber, who's inside Piano, there's nobody really else who's currently trying to make a push happen. Forget that, you just saw the dropping coming in from Souls from the new hatch. So 2 men now trying to fight over the top.
They drop, they're out of there, they rotate, and, well, they still have a C4 they can utilize, and they've sort of wasted a minute 40 here. Cyber steadies his way across as they still don't fully trust that there's not a Team Liquid player lurking in a corner. I mean, we've had those moments from FaZe time and time again, and they don't want to be caught in their own game. Now, get themselves paced up again, smashing open the hold above as quickly as they can. I said it before in the previous round, regardless of how things fell out, you are still obviously not just doing entirely vertical takes here. There has to be a little bit of that flat control and coverage, and that usually comes around the 30-second mark here, but it's Vidaking going fishing first of all and finding Maya, and now that is that motion. But an attempted retake, Palu, you could see he was sort of eyeing up somebody else watching a camera potentially. The pings are there, and that's teamwork, baby. Palu drives his way across. He is now a massive problem, because if they get caught out here, that could be the kit drop. Resets gets Vidaking. 4 versus 3. Resets gets caught out, but still 2 versus 3. Palu has the vertical. Souls has Nesk. A 2 versus 2. They're going for the plant. There's nobody immediately able to stop it right now. You can see Souls is watching every way he can. They're screaming themselves forward, and a lot of damage done. Palu for 3. Handy does have vertical once again. It's going to be a tricky fight to make at this point, and that's it. He doesn't have the stuns. It's just an impact. They've gone for the retake. Palu's underneath. Handy is going to drop and rotate. He's playing a game for Palu for a quad. And I cannot believe the nature of these rounds. But Liquid, they believe that they can get this one locked out 6-4.
One more round, and they break that curse. They go to a map number 3, and they will fight for survival in Six Invitational and to play later on today. Because the match and their day, well, the match might be over after the next map, but it's definitely not their day. Because there's another best of 3 they would have to fight through and survive through to have a chance at making it even to the main stage, because that's tomorrow, where we qualify the remaining teams for the main event.
The loser, obviously, of this series is done. Their SI is wrapped. The winner would be matched up against Virtus Pro later on today. And that is one of those games where it's either a rematch of a 2 versus 1 that was Liquid versus them in the group phase. Liquid lost, I believe, from my memory's eye. Or, well, an easier one to remember, the upper bracket final of last SI, FaZe versus Virtus Pro. The game has sent FaZe into the final, and Virtus Pro down to the lower bracket, where they then lost to, at the time, W7M. Obviously, Furia, and got
turned out to be world champions, yeah.
3rd place. So, there's 2 big potential rematches, including the final before the final.
And these teams, you know, they're not really known to make changes. Like some of the other teams, you know, there's like 1 or 2 new players entering every single time. That's not the case for FaZe. That's not the case for Liquid. That's definitely not the case for Virtus Pro. So So it is just going to be quite on a rematch, just in a slightly different meta, a year later, on a different kind of stage. Nades coming through, just to take out some utility. Liquid, they are so close to finding the first map of the year here against FaZe. All they need to do is just hold on, just a little bit longer. Let that time tick down, let it work for you.
Ready for somebody to come to a piano window. They have built themselves a fortress, but a fortress can be torn down. This, the caps, the weight, the bait, the play, they've got it pre-loosed, but as the Habana pellets open an angle, how confident are they feeling? The E1D pulses above and Lagonis' nerve falls a step maybe earlier than he wanted, but still. They have the castle, they have the Scar, they have some of those Keepers, and now they have some damage done. Cyber trying to make friends.
Friends is a strong word again.
It's such a heavy hold here. That's 3 players dedicated around this space entirely. Huge amounts of utility. They've got the extension in towards Cigar that's covered in Maya. Wins out the first engagement against Handy, and Lagonis survives. Slips his way away. The cover of Nesk pushes the player out. Souls just takes the drop, and KDS gets Maya from the hatch on the balcony. KDS gets it, and they just screamed their way. They said, "You are holding Pixel, fine. We will take the site."
Decided to just go for an execute, and FaZe break on through. As round number 12 will come into play. And either Liquid pushes us to a map number 3, or overtime will be seen in this series. And the timeout now called. They still have one left in the pocket. After FaZe called it at the conclusion of round number 8. They know they need to lock this off. And they have 2 or 3 options to try and do it at. Reading, kitchen, or cocktail. The 3 options Liquid have available to them to try and lock this one out. Now, kitchen they've lost when they played it. Cocktail they've won once, just lost it now. So which are they going to go for?
And that is it. Now it is all down to the players. Liquid, 1 round away from surviving for now for a map. 1 round away from back to it. Maybe that is it. Great motion there from FaZe. As I said, I think after some juggling, some time on the utility, realized just how heavy a hold it was in that situation, and also how little Liquid wanted to give it up. They lose the opening engagement to Liquid, so FaZe went, right, let's operate. Let's hit the hatch, drop down onto the balcony, and then swing Cigar, then swing the site. 2 of us are now in the site. And
yeah. It just overwhelmed them completely. I mean, there was such a heavy hold towards piano. You cannot just hold every single part of the map. And as soon as they found that gap and basically got the first opening, that gap can only become wider. And now a single round to decide whether overtime is necessary, or map number 3 to decide which of these 2 teams is going to progress down to the lower bracket, and which will sadly be going home tomorrow as their tournament would conclude. Oh, there is a player on Pixel again. They're aware of that. I think at least there's a player prone as well. A pre-fire could be the end of Vita King. He now knows because one of those bullets just went through. So he's going to be holding on to that. He's like, okay, there's someone in Pixel. Can we try and force him out?
Well, that's the cover that's going to sort of come through. It's Nesk in that position, and he slips his way out without, you know, actually being killed. He suffered some damage, but he can survive, and he's ready for a breach and a break. Cyber's made his way towards the piano window, and Palu has dropped off. You still have Nesk around this position, not entirely alone. There's obviously some C4 support, and Maya is in cocktail as well, but it's just drawing the focus. You cannot let them get sort of freewheeling here on the verticality. It was their point of focus, their immediate point of play. Last time, remember, things went a bit awry with the self-C4 and the damage done to teammates, but they think they can press that time advantage again. Feel of players' positions. Maya happy to keep himself here, tucked around the swing in. They actually re-barricade on the new Balk window, and it's Cyber cutting his way across. I talked about the sort of lateral pressure that needed to be applied last time here from FaZe. The grenades bouncing their way back towards Maya, who still survives. Parley finds Cyber, and Handy trying to smash their way in as FaZe go for this execute across the top. There is more traded bodies, more of an engagement, and it's so scrappy, but the C4 support is there. 2 versus 3, technically a huge kill. This buys them the verticality, maybe even the chance to get up Souls, who's slipped his way to a bit of soft, but as you can see, it's being called. They're aware of it, and he's worried. They're just spraying and hoping, and Souls, someone needs to save him, but they don't want to give them the free double. There it is. But 45 seconds, a 3 versus 2.
Time ticking down. Vida King knocking at the front doors off the sides. Handy opening up from above is making some positions slightly less playable. Souls will probably stay on the verticality, whereas the other two are trying to get that plan down. They need a bit of pressure horizontal as well, as a retake of Palu is going to be attempted.
Finding their way around White, but pushed out of washroom. This is a big moment, and it's won out by Palu. Can deny the plant, can absolutely rain terror on the attempt. There's his third. But now Souls spraying and hoping just to catch a loose thread of a FaZe player, but Liquid secure FaZe's map, secure a lifeline, and we go to a Soul map, a Soul opportunity, a Soul chance for either FaZe or Liquid to keep going along the lower bracket.
They break their curse against FaZe. They win their first map in the last 12 months against them, and now they need to do it again if they want to continue their tournament.
Let's take a quick break before we're back.
Tap, yeah, I want that. No lines, I don't cut back. Sweet, salty, and all that. Let loose, come get that. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel that? Ooh, you feel that? Ooh, the real back. Ooh, I'm still that. Ooh, you catch that? Ooh, I guess that. The best back. Yeah, yeah. 30,000 up on my pallet. Might jump out if I'm wildin'. Catch my flow, I'm so stylish. Tap, tap, real smooth. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go.
Recovering in El Clasico, Team Liquid taking to map 3, but we have to talk about the one that just passed, because my God, it was neck and neck the whole time on Cafe Dostoevsky, just off of a great start.
Yeah, a really strong comeback. We doubted the attack pick. We knew they sucked at attack, let's be real. Overall, and they go on one of the most defender-sided map in the meta, and they go in and they get a 4-2 split. That was huge for me. And we've said one of the things, they needed to bring the Monty if they want to play that conventional siege, and FaZe were playing into that. They were playing very slow. You see the lineup, most of the times they were bringing smoke, bringing the Goyos, bringing the castles, all of this to slow Liquid down, while they use the Monty to get that control and play that traditional way of siege and beat them really hard on that first attacker split.
Liquid's certainly a team that knew something about their attacks that we didn't know, Leo, of course, as you say, that Monty. And I think it's just important to say about how Lagonis plays the Monty as well. He's not an aggressive player with the Monty. He uses the Monty to get direct lines of sight into key positions into the map and uses that to IGL his troops around the map to then get the kills. And it's so substantial. We've seen teams ban it over and over again. FaZe haven't, and it did catch them out, and they were unpredictable as well.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I saw was like this change of pace, right? First style of attack, let's play conventional siege, let's bring your shield. Second pace, be unpredictable. That's one of the things that we said. On round 6, what do? They bring Amaru, they bring Blitz, they bring all of this stuff to rush in. And you'll see here, Ying, instead of the Blitz. Outside of mining window, Nesk is ready to execute with the Ying. You see the Lurk, Nuke around reading door, and at the same time the Amaru. They send all of the stuff to bait for the execute. Lagonis is rappelling in dining with the diffuser at the same time. Maya wins this very big opening arrangement here. And as the plan is going down in dining, they're completely baited by Nesk here in mining. It's really, really good play. The diffuser actually went in from the other window. And overall, like, super good execution from Liquid. That's the change of pace that we needed.
And these were the types of attacks that we were not seeing from Team Liquid at all on Nighthaven Labs. They just didn't happen at all. They changed it up on Cafe. They got behind the Monty. And then when FaZe kind of settled into that, they went unpredictable, as we saw in the clips there. Really, really good attacks, and then they defended it out from there.
It's great. It's like a complete 180 shift to what we got in map 1 for Team Liquid, but not everything went off without a hitch in this game, right? There's a few things that slip between the cracks for Team Liquid.
Yeah, I think they weren't that consistent, you know, with some of the things, including Palu trying to C4 this guy. I mean, look at his angle. Poor guy in 90. I think Palu really wanted that. He really wanted that 1,000 kill threshold, and he just wanted to skip that part and get a second kill.
Every stack has one person that does that, and I want you to just text your friend right now, send him a message, tag him somewhere, because that is exactly, they should know who they are in a situation like that. Jack, but yeah.
It's not me. It's not me.
I'm just saying. Anyways, Jack, any final words before we close it out on map 2?
Oh, look, I think Liquid had some resilience in that game that I'll be honest, going into map 2, I wasn't expecting them to have. They've surprised me, particularly on the attacks. I think we're in for a hell of a final series because both teams love the next map.
And Concholet is heavily defender-sided. So once again, I know we've been saying this again and again, but the attack side is really where it begins.
Yeah.
The shields have a little bit less of an impact on that map. I'm assuming, though, that we can see more rushes with the stance.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. We have a game on our hands. FaZe versus Team Liquid. Winner of the game advances. Loser is out of SI. We'll talk about map 3 after the break.
Back it up, back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back it up, back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back to the back to the back to the back to the back. Take it back, take it back. Back it up, 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 back it up. Take it back, take it back. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back it up, back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back to the back to the back to the back to the back.
We continue on with El Clásico between Team Liquid and FaZe Clan. We go into map 3. Liquid have recovered, but how well will they flow in this third one? Will it be done and dusted on Consulate for the FaZe side or for Liquid? Only time will tell. In less than an hour, it'll all be closed up here on the chapter. Let's talk about it. Recovery from Team Liquid map 2. They have what it takes to get past this point.
Absolutely. They've showed us that they have a plan. They've showed us that they know how to VOD review, and we actually have 2 VODs of FaZe at this event on this map. Same thing for Liquid, though. One of the things I'd like to see from FaZe to change is either remove that Monty. I know I've said shields aren't as big on Construct, but it seems that it's the main big pivotal point for Liquid to win attack maps. And then the second thing will be to be able to react to rushes. They were not able to react to those. They need to be ready for it. If it means playing more turtle, it means playing turtle, but they need to play their own game now.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Leo. The Monty ban has to come in for FaZe Clan because it's so effective on the side of Team Liquid. I think if they take away that Monty, FaZe will be starting on the defense. They can start snowballing it, but if they let their ego get the better of them and let Lagonis get on that Monty, it could be over.
It's great at slowing down the game, which Liquid desperately needed after that first map. We'll see. Consulate is up in the air. Alphama and Fresh, thank you so much. Our casters are standing by. Fluke and App, please. My friends, take it away.
Thank you very much. And yes, we will. For the second time in about 20 hours, we are going into our 3rd map in a huge, huge series. Do you know what it is, Hap? All on the line. The loser of this series is done. That is the end of their run of SI. And, well, there's an intense stare from Cyber, but the 2 teams, he's going to win. I hope you all at home are doing a staring contest as well. Ooh, he's good. He's very good.
The camera lost.
The camera lost. Because we got some Siege to play. The loser between FaZe or Team Liquid will be another team whose run here at Six Invitational 2025 is done. And I sort of agree with the desk cap. Crazy. Ludicrous. I want to see if they ban
those guys.
Those friends over there. I want to see if they ban the Monty. I want to see if they respect and understand that, oh yeah, this is why everybody does it.
It's what I said, right? Like at the end of the attacking half of Liquid on the previous maps, like surely the Montaigne is going to be banned out now. Of course, Blackbeard banned by Liquid themselves. Now the true question, is FaZe going to be removing that Montaigne? Maybe the Clash to follow up on it.
No, they have not opted. And has the game been decided by that decision? Probably not.
But there's still rounds to play.
I'm sure Liquid are very happy to have it slip through. A bit of a discussion there on towards the defender they want to get rid of, and Goyo. Goyo is utilized a lot across the pretty much every single map right now. It's great utility. Obviously, comp where you're doing full setups, where you have the full extensions, and you can kind of predict and shape and guide people to be in situations, and you go, here's my Goya. But also the very active use of Goya we've seen throughout this tournament. People who leave them and sort of with them in aggressive positions, pop them and fall back, buys themselves, well, at least a chance to turn tail. And that is the style of play that Liquid has done quite a lot. So FaZe, they want to make sure that not only do they remove the holds inside the site, but they stop that turning tail game.
We are getting in the way. Has Milos gone back to playing the Jazz live?
That is all Milos.
That is all Milos. And we're going to console meeting as the very, very first sight of this final map. As Liquid's finally been able to beat FaZe for once this year, looking to take this series now and fight to continue down that lower bracket and have hope to maybe make it to the main stages. Now, at the start of this game, we highlighted the 1,000 kill club. 3 kills are required for Palu to make it, so we can count that down. That might be this round, might be the next.
He did great. Obviously, you know,
a great round, 50
about
kills
3 rounds into the last one, and he had gotten about 4 kills. We were like, yeah, maybe not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then, pulls out an ace, pulls out a 4K, pulls out a 3K. It's like, maybe gonna happen.
Maybe gonna happen, you know?
Maybe gonna happen. 3 kills. I mean, that man can kill. He is obviously one of the most history players. Again, we might be having all 3 members of the 1,000 kills at SI and above.
I kind of call them millenniums.
The millenniums. Yeah. We might have all 3 of our millennium players. That works.
Yeah, that works, right? Like millennials is maybe not the right word.
I wouldn't call them millennials.
Yeah. So millenniums is what we're going to call
it. But our 3 millennium players bringing the Y2K of their own. Attention played. Maya is in a position now where he's just got to sit here for a while, make sure that he survives. More importantly, he's going to be the sort of, you know, anchor, the hold of the back of this, as now they'll try and get themselves in towards Archives, in towards Admin, in towards Coffin. some control on Spiral and then see if they can force vending. That is sort of the play and the setup here, and with that position being an important one, Backwire's not even going to risk holding onto it and fighting from that. He's dropped himself down. They've got growth and plans for that for later.
The Montaigne, of course, going to be the first to enter the building in from the admin windows as he confirms and takes his drone. Agonis taking out the default camera. You might be wondering, why is he shooting the floor? That's the default camera down in FaZe. Just going to be removing that one, just taking out the utility and information that might be around. Actually needing Paolo to come around as well. It's a bit of a higher caliber than the 9mm pistol he's been using. And a minute 30 have just passed on the board. Timing slowly going down. The fact there's no Goyo is actually going to make this push a little bit more easy to go through, because usually the A side will be stacked with those pockets. And as the flashbangs and grenades are starting to come through, Paolo needs 2 more to get himself to 1,000.
Wow, there's KDS and Souls finding ones of their own and stopping that run here, at least for Palu this time round. Lagonis on the Monty. We talked about the importance of that player and that operator, and now he's all that's left. He's dancing a dangerous fight. A second to reload, and, well, re-shields and drops the cam, the crossfire. A step too far. FaZe open up with the first defense.
It was a bit of a quick play once more, of course. You know, it took down until the final minute, but at the moment they managed to get that very first kill. Liquid kind of tried to explode all over the site, but was shut down by FaZe one by one. The instant retreat coming through. And this is basically a bit of a repeat of what we've seen when we were on Labs, for example. They managed to get that entry kill in quite cleanly, at least you'd say, until 10 seconds later, and the entire team just dies. Coffee cam.
It's the coffee cam. My favorite cam.
Or water or tea. I don't know what liquid is in there.
Well, liquid was in there, and then they got removed. Dried out like a sponge by FaZe. The swing there against the Monty. They're, you know, opting for these sort of driven fights, but FaZe coming down to the 3 versus 1 towards the 2 versus 1, and you're up against the Lagonis on a Monty. You don't want to entirely throw the risk down towards the basement here. Find ourselves on towards Cafe. Can this be a chance for a return towards the first map? It was traded rounds pretty much entirely, apart from a single moment where Liquid threaded 2 in the midst of it. And that was enough.
Now, going back here on Consulate, this is a map that they have played once against one another. Actually, no, twice. The Stage 2 playoffs, it was won 7-5 by FaZe back then. And at the Manchester Major, they've also played it 7-5 to FaZe in that game as well. So FaZe have been able to take this home twice, but because of this, also both these teams know a lot about one another for this specific map. How they play it, how they like to think on certain issues that might arise. So it just depends on who has done the better prep, who has done and made the better counters for this kind of game. The first minute passes, no real pressure coming down yet from the side of Liquid. We see a couple of them ready outside of Piano, trying to get a bit of pressure in. Reset, ready to basically... What? Where? Oh, above. Handy. Finding the shot into Lagonis, and that's a big loss, losing that shield like that this early on.
I mean, just a step too close to the fire. Handy gets his second, the trade out. Maya gets locked for his third. Palu gets one more. Separates Palu from the 1K club. But between him and Resets, they've got to find 3 if they want to win this round and keep themselves level and immediately competitive with FaZe. They get some security, some safety. FaZe have backed off a bit. They know where the side is. They know what still needs to be played. And look what's been taken out. They have some hard breach, but both soft destruct is gone. They can only really play with what is available to them from the pre-opened angles and positions. Luckily for them, there's a couple, but at the same time, you're up against the C4 at least. It's going to be a very dangerous drop and roll. The flashes to see if they can catch out this back line of players. They hit the hatch, but it's actually Resets that catches KDS. Another bit of pressure, another play round. The air jab will cut off the rotate. Reset's going to secure the plant as well. And, well, pulls off, but the cover is a second too late. Another 1 versus 1. 40 seconds Resets. He's going to see if he sticks this one. Souls is making a movement closer and closer, and he gets the start of an engagement for Souls. He can play time. He can play pace. The pressure's on Resets, who cannot get it. Souls. 2 rounds for FaZe.
Tried to get the planter, weren't quite able to stick it. Because time and time again, another FaZe player popped up and made life difficult. An exposition piano is going to be up next. They're continuing that rotation. Of course, considering they won the other 2, they cannot really go back until the next round. This is how it started off, though. The Sledge opened up the castle barricade. They probably thought it wouldn't be watched due to the fact it is a castle barricade. But Handy was out there already, and he basically instantly took out an angle from that attack. And Resets and Palu, they almost made it happen, but FaZe too strong in that round.
2-0 FaZe. This tertiary site is the important sort of landing point here for Liquid. So otherwise, if this goes away, you start asking the questions of when do you have your timeout? When do you have your conversation? Yes. It's not a huge sort of divide across this site itself. Piano, 34% attacker win. It's not actually as good as some of the others. Console has 42% attack, but still, these teams know each other better. Those numbers will be sort of less aggressively inflated when you're up against the same region matchups because you're very familiar with the region's playstyle on sites. You're very familiar with how to lock yourselves in and focus up here. They're weighing their options. Now, the early loss of the Blitz before was a bit of a blow. They're back to Monty. This time, Lagonis. Palu, 1 kill. Needed.
1 kill to join the exclusive club of Nesk and Cyber, who both are in this server as well. Yet to find a kill, both of them in this round, in this game so far, though. As Resets looking to push with the shotgun, throws in a grenade very first, goes into yellow. Candelas are starting to pop off as well, as Paolo's trying to make a move happen. Resets with the very first. Finds the Warden, descending the staircase, and instantly pushes back up as he wants to hold as Nesk finds KDS.
5 versus 3, they're in a very good position here. Souls has had a big map so far with a 4K of his own and, well, winning out a 1 versus 1 clutch, but a minute 30. Liquid have done this very quickly. Palu hops in, hops out, removes the Fenrir mine. So now they get a little bit extra access. The traps haven't really slowed them down. The frost mats, the combination with Fenrir too, they are just waiting. At this point, you know, there can be time preparation. Cyber is going to prepare himself for C4 in case somebody rotates Spiral behind him. Just gives them a safe option without having to swing, take their focus off elsewhere. It's the Boogie drone getting the work done. Vidaking sitting, waiting patiently, and they will expect this angle. And they will expect Cyber, the shield, about to clank its way around the corner. The blinds are in and out and over the cover of the Candelas. Scream across. You can see Souls is trying to step in and stop that approach there, keep themselves safe. And, well, there's the reveal, the hit of the shield. They'll pull themselves back. Maya suffers next, and a misthrown Candela won't go down towards the back of the site where they wanted. Suddenly, Palu is trying to thread delicate shots as Lagonis securing the block. Palu enters the Millennium Club with his 1000th kill at SI. Cyber shots him out, but he would need to ace again. Fights a Monty toe-to-toe. Damo says no. Congratulations, Palu. You joined Nesk. You joined Cyber as achieving 1,000 kills whilst playing in Six Invitational. But that is just one accreditation. That is just one trophy. One thing on your shelf. I think a hammer is probably a nicer one to have. And you get your first round trying to keep yourself going on it 2-1.
They've never gotten as close as they did back in 2021 in Paris. It was a beautiful venue. It was a close game against NIP. And the devastation that Liquid suffered at that moment was just so immense. But FaZe, they themselves, I mean, They lost out only just last year. Their pain is even more recent. So both these teams know what it's like to lose at the biggest stage of them all. And as it's 2-1 FaZe, they still have that lead. Liquid closing that gap by just a round. Interesting cam here. I didn't know we could see drones like this. As we move over to round number 4. Again, back towards the top floor. The rotation will be reset. And FaZe will be looking to at least find yet another 2 rounds out of these next 3.
Liquid. They haven't been a million miles away. A sort of 1 versus 1, a 1 versus 2. FaZe will still need to sharpen certain aspects up. There are things about the hole being red. The Monty is out and about once again, as it was before. But will Lagonis be able to have a little bit more support in the final throws towards the site? Utilization of the Flores, removing all of those hard corners of utility, the problem areas they couldn't quite get a handle on last time they were here. Instead, well, we don't need to be so direct with our approach. They have the ROUs, they have the role of the Sense, they have themselves pretty much an entirely different lineup. So I think they want to just try and clear a bit of the space on the plant, get underneath, get it landed. Early C4 usage doesn't net anything, but at this point as time ticks on, you can see that Ness is sort of anticipating somebody from behind yellow.
I mean, you just got to be worried about any of these flankers potentially to move through. And I mean, it's not like they can push anyway now. There is a smoke canister down. Might as well just watch in case there is a flanker coming around the corner. Whereas Lagonis is going to try and slowly creep himself towards that side. Make sure to call out. There's one close in the corner. There's one looking through the bathroom door. So the ROU is going to be blocking the line of sight as the blitz. I mean, the Monty's starting to push through, but King finds the cover right behind him. Ness gets shut down. And Lagonis now all alone with no cover here against basically every single enemy as resets, at least resets that man count.
Souls tried to sort of double dip and get some damage done out the bathroom, but didn't really offer them anything apart from a man, and now they just sort of flood their way in towards console, towards CEO, and towards the desk itself. But crossing the divide is proving not easy as Vidiking gets one. It's a back and forth from a shield, but Maya and Palu get that little gap, that little break. 40 seconds. Handy and KDS, they're trying to retake either side. There's a bit of a split fight. Separate Palu, separate Maya, and the shield as well. They've all fallen back round. They've opted for an entirely different approach, and Handy gets one over the shoulder, but unfortunately, another player still stands. Another 1 versus 2 has come together. You're against the shield, and you get the boom! KDS collaterals his way through Liquid.
They lined up in the end. I mean, Monty and Shielded to basically divide the attention. But as he gets knifed, his head lines up to the last member on his team. And both of them sprayed down in the same second. And FaZe, they secured themselves their 3rd round. Looking to progress throughout this lower bracket. You saw here first, Vidiking shutting down Nesk, who was down on that cover. And afterwards, some quick and nice plays to come through, but the man advantage eventually came back in favor of Liquid. And some people might question, why did you unshield? But it's just to make sure that the attention is being dragged away from the cover.
Yeah.
So you could take it 2-on-1 fight.
Exactly. You're sacrificing yourself at that point for the other player to have the trade. You know that, well, if you're fully shielded, they're just going to pre-aim the other guy anyway. You have to be a threat. You have to draw the attention down to you and hope. But the positioning is just lining them up there for KDS, getting the collateral kill. It's the right idea, but the wrong result there that's come through from Liquid due to KDS's positional sort of awareness. It's like, fine, I'll kill that man through you.
I mean, he did himself in the corner, and I was like, you're not going to be unseen. There's a shield. Like, he's going to come around the corner, know exactly where you are, but as a result of it, was able to basically line up those shots. In the end of it, find themselves with yet another round in favor of FaZe. just lost map number 2. Now trying to push it back. They still have another best of 3 to play after this today. Whoever wins this current map to make sure that they are not joining the loser of this game on the plane back home to Brazil.
Now it is sort of a position on this map where it's not a million miles away. The defense has preference, about a 60-40 split. So a 4-2 is common territory at this point, but they just want to try and break this mold because all these rounds, they're ending in 1 versus X's, you know, and that one, maybe the first that was actually successfully won by the one out by that last remaining player. Ness, does he know about the player top spiral?
He doesn't.
No. Cyber picks up a freebie. He's able to get himself out of there as well as KDS opens the run and the route. And the sledge gone. They've tripled their soft destruction choice. I said it before, the first 2 to go. Last time was Maya and Ness playing soft destruction. This time Palu has joined in. They don't want to risk not having that vertical control and pressure.
That is Elysian playing on the bottom side of that spiral, so it wasn't actually right below. On the statue, Cyber just holding on tight here. Sees a couple of players rotating around, or hears them rather, run by. FaZe have the man advantage here. It's just a matter of just sitting still, waiting patiently, not going for the fight as Maya swings around a corner. Finds Handy as he was being pressured from the outside and from the staircase at the same time, and that gives him the opportunity to now start working on verticality on Garage itself. After that, you can remove that utility. You can start thinking about potentially going for a main breach and see what you can reach from that point onwards. And as Paolo is clearing around on that top floor, making sure there's absolutely no roamer left. 35 seconds are on the clock, and it's not a lot of timing for Liquid. That definitely doesn't help. Just hitting a skeleton key into Lagones. He's down 1 HP now. As the heart breach, as the diffuser carrier.
20 seconds on the clock at this point, and as you set the diffuser planter, he needs to try and get that planted. Balu goes through every single goo mine possible, but he needs to find the fight. There is the swing out. Souls gets Maya, Cyber gets Palu. Liquid only have resets in 8 seconds at this point. And that divide, that 3-1 becomes 4-1, becomes only 3 rounds away from their run being done. As said, still likely for a 4-2 half, still expected. Probably find a way towards Piano, but you know, it does bounce back and forth as a site, as a location, and with the timeout, they know how important this round is to win.
Yeah, I already thought that this was going to be the moment to call that tactical timeout. I mean, they have gotten close. They just weren't able to close out these, well, basically end situations. And right now, it's calm chatter that's going on. And it's probably just talking about despite, like, small mistakes. Work together, communicate. Work on the basics. Something about Montaigne.
Pode manter a cara igual vocês na play L, tá ligado? Tá. Entra ali normal, prepara o terreno e você entra ali. Normalmente tem bem chi, ok? E você vai entrar na cara, pode subir, cara, volta também, se jabrar. Pode jabrar.
Montaigne is the only thing I got out of that.
Yeah, it does help. It does help that Montaigne is the same in every language.
Yeah.
Though, actually, I mean, technically it's not, because it means mountain in French, right?
Yeah, it is French for mountain, yes.
If we're, I mean, imagine if you renamed every operator like that based on it, because
Dutch would be called Ben. Yeah, not sounding very.
Here comes mountain. Well, they use that in Game of Thrones. Actually, it works.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty well. But 4-1 now at this point. See the replay of the previous round. We get ourselves back in here. FaZe. They can get themselves the 5-1 half. Hey, remember how we opened our series? It was a 5-1 half to a 6-1 position. They know how to press their advantages, FaZe. They know how to lock themselves in. That was defense into offense as well, and could be the same story here. That timeout could be the last conversation Liquid have with each other and their coach, where they can slow things down and stop their fall. But from now on to maybe the end of their run, it's all free-flowing.
Slowly starting to evaporate for them indeed, so they need to put a stop to this. Need to put that temperature down. cool off this match. Make sure that they are there to, well, basically pick up on those 1v2 situations where, you know, if you calm it down a little bit more, if you just realize what a person is and just use the time you have available, 1 or 2 of those rounds could have turned around. Are they aware? Paulo definitely seems to be. He's just going to be waiting now. There's a player on the opposite side now. Oh, that is dangerous. Oh, that's a bait. Okay.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, like, no way you're going to be losing it out like this.
No, they're baiting KDS. KDS would have to hop out with a shotgun and make the connection. They're trying to play on the audio, but KDS is patient. He doesn't need to go yet. He's waiting for some utility to be thrown in, some pressure to be put. You assume he'll activate soon. The drop down, the C4 throws them further and further back. They're not quite able to get the full control here. The vertical fight is coming together. Cyber and Handy, though, they start to tear this round away. There's another for Cyber, run for Souls, and Parlu looked like he wanted to open the engagement, but he has been left alone, out to dry, and he gets Cyber. But they obviously knew where he was. Another 5-1 half for FaZe.
It's not looking good for Liquid and their fans. The copium must have been running high after they just won that previous map. Like, we are so back. Only to be in its Jover FaZe potentially to come through now. 2 rounds again. FaZe, they're 2 away from progressing and sending Liquid back home on a plane to Brazil. And as it was a very convincing round to come through as well, that definitely doesn't send you with the highest of moods into your second half if you're a Liquid.
They have the benefit of being on their defense. They have that in their pocket, in their favor. But as I said before, that is all that they have right now. They have to try and rally as the roster. One of the longest standing, longest fighting, and most regarded rosters that have been close to winning it before. They have to try and find that special something, but Nesk, Lagones unable to get themselves into a sort of kill game, where on the other hand, all 5 players of FaZe, helped by being on their defense, have been able to sort of lock down positions, lock down cover for each other, most importantly.
The last time Liquid played FaZe on this map, they won 2 rounds on the attack and 3 rounds on the attack. So they have definitely been underperforming if we are continuing that kind of statement to go through. It was in Manchester. That was in the FaZe 2 playoffs for their regional league. And now onto the defense. Well, they're gonna have to make the difference. And Vita King almost opening up with a clean take. It was a shoulder to be shown, but Reset's not deciding to go for it in the end, falling back, not taking that fight, not wanting to give away the body that early on. As the RC Roteros are spooling up to take out the utility to allow FaZe to go quick whenever they need to. There's first of all the long desk to be removed. It's a popular position to play in if it's not being challenged. It is hardwood. It gives you so much cover. With the barbed wire now removed and the top of Spiral as well, it's opened up a second avenue for the side of FaZe to try and utilize. Now the top of Yellow being cleared as well. And these don't all have to be utilized by FaZe, but it's pressure that Liquid needs to pay attention to as the round goes on. Lagonis took a bit of damage in a bit of a scrap that might have been handy, trying to go for a bit of a chase. And with 1:20 left, and then basically stacked up on Copy, soon Maya is going to be receiving a bit of pressure here on Soda.
It is the power position, the crossfight. As KDS, though, gets resets, gets blinded, and gets themselves moving. Cyber, huge amount of damage, but KDS gets Lagonis, gets the second. And they're about to get a face full of bullets. Maya's blinded, and Souls tears through, but there goes Souls, and it is just Parlu. In a 1 versus 4, gets his second, gets the track in return. They know where he is, they're behind him, they're around him. They've got a crossfire, he's trying to isolate a fight, and he's blind on this corner and swing, he survives, and he gets crossed out. FaZe, 6-1 again, 1 round away again, but Can they try and lock this out? Can they confirm themselves to continue on the lower bracket to rematch, re-meet Virtus Pro after they beat them in the upper bracket final last SI? Can they send their countrymen home?
They have 5 rounds to try and lock it off, and after that, they have an overtime to potentially do it. And FaZe have all the cards in their hands right now. Liquid need a miracle to push on through. KDS from the top row, finding one, realizing one was coming up. A beautiful flash onto Maya, followed up by a double from Souls. And Palu, he almost managed to bring it back. Fought 2, found 3, got himself in the right position, but the one flashbang stopped him from taking the 4 fight and allowed him to be wallbanged slightly later. FaZe, 1 round is all they need to continue their win streak against Liquid and to continue the lower bracket.
Liquid, for all their history, for all their worth, for all the talent this roster possesses, and for the fight they had on the previous map, maybe the best that they've played the entire tournament, they have just not been able to get themselves over the struggles they've suffered. FaZe, they took a knock, they took another, but they also took a lot of big games in the group stage. And they're looking set and ready to get some revenge for being knocked down to the lower bracket and scream their way back towards a final, something that they've probably been thinking about since the last time and how it went away from them. Souls moves in towards admin, gets the first test of control, the first taste. Finding ourselves onto Expo and Piano. You want this verticality, and that's what they're going for as quick as they can, but this opening engagement could be that big deciding factor.
Yeah, and the long desk to be removed. The player behind it forced off once more. Nesk is looking to take the fight over towards the admin side. There's 3 players of FaZe as he's tucking himself in close behind the soda machine, but he's been spotted, and this will force the fall back. Handy trying to lean into the fight, but the Fenrir FNAT is slowing him down slightly. And with 1:30 and Vita King now making the phone call, he knows that resets is around the corner. Has the challenge, but it's a shotgun on the other side as well as Handy gets the opening kill.
Nesk fights back, but KDS and Cyber set us up on the end, but Maya driving for a double. Laconis and Maya holding on, brings themselves into the 2 versus 1. Maya, Cyber and Handy ahead of him. They have a minute, they have time. He has all the pressure, all the weight in the world upon his shoulders. Sets himself on the side of seeding, and the spray through gives the game away that we know where you are. So we're gonna plant behind Piano where you cannot reach us. The blinds against that man won't stop. The grenade forces him away, but he knows the risk. He's got a challenge and he can't. FaZe confirm themselves to face VP later, confirm themselves to keep going in the tournament with a strong, strong showing. Liquid freeze up and get dried out here at SI 2025. Their run is over, and although the roster broke some massive records and scores and put in a great fight, it is just not the year of Liquid.